What's going on? It's just me. I have a guest coming tonight. He is putting his super young baby to bed right now, but he will be right here. But that's perfect because it gives everybody a time to catch up, and we're going to be doing some talking and hanging out for a minute before we get started on the announcements. What is going on to everybody out there? First off, it's been a decent week. What's going on, Dave? Toasted Media, my friend, you made it. Hello. Stan Geezy. Man, I got to reach out to you and try to get you on here. We got to do one of these. You and me. Come on. John Peters. Hey. Good luck at work tonight, my friend. Sean is here live. That is always nice to see. What's going on, buddy? And then Jesse. How we doing, Sardis? Man, all of the good friends. What's going on? Eric and Terry. Everybody's here. Hey. So what's going on? It's been a rough, a little bit of a rough day. I had like a half day at work. I thought it was going to be a pretty easy day, and then out of nowhere, my kid decided to make it super rough this afternoon. So I got to eat dinner really late. I made a really fancy dinner tonight, though. I was stoked on it. I made a Denver omelet nachos. First time I've ever made it, and it turned out freaking incredible. Yeah, it was amazing, but I am stuffed. Stoked to hang out with Chris tonight. I also got a couple random things to show everybody. Normally I would talk about one or two pickups, but tonight's a little bit different. What's going on, Ice? How you doing, my friend? Video Man in. Hey. Jeremy's going to the Weird Al biopic. Nice. Lucky. No, that's a good wish, I promise. Mr. Chasing Labels himself. What's going on, Steven? Okay, so two odd random, I can't really call them pickups, I guess. Friends of the channel. I have two friends of the channel that have sent me two things on the same day, so I figured I would share them. This first one is hilarious. Friend of the channel, Brian, sent me these, and this was the inside of the package. And I went up to my wife and I said, "Smell this. Look what I got," from somebody that hangs out when, watches the channel. We talk all the time. And she smelled it and she goes, "Is that weed?" I laughed so freaking hard. First off, these are amazing. If it smells like weed, what do you think it is? I would love to hear something in response to that. My wife doesn't do great with this. She doesn't do great with smelling weed either, I guess. But friend of the channel, Brian, sent me homegrown peppers. And I am stoked. However, I can already feel my eyes watering just from having it sitting in here waiting for the show to go live. I can't wait to use some of these. I'm going to be roasting these and trying to make my own hot sauce for the first time. I love hot sauce. Brian, so freaking grateful that you sent that. Obviously, smells nothing like weed. My wife never smoked weed in her life, so that's probably why that she doesn't really know the smell well. Then, this was on the inside of another package. Friend of the channel, Angel, who you might see in the chat sometimes. And this is the first time I've seen these. I haven't opened this up. Wow. Haven't opened this up yet. Friend of the channel, Angel, went to Brazil recently. And we were talking before, and he was like, "Do you have anything from Brazil? Any physical media that came from Brazil?" And I was like, "No, I don't think so." So he's like, I'll keep an eye out. And if I find something, I'll try to, just to broaden some horizons, see if you are into it. I still haven't seen what was in this. I'm holding them in my hand, but this is the first time. We're all going to see it for the first time together. So this first one, that is hard to see in this Serra Pelada. This is the first one in the stack. And interesting. Looks kind of interesting. I will certainly check this out. I've never even seen the ratings logos that they use there. Fantastic. The second one. Oh, wow. I don't even know how to say that second word. Tu Coelhos, I would assume, or something like that. That first one was age 14. Here is age 16. That cover alone looks fun. And then finally, Central do Brasil. This is age 12. and I can't even say what these are about because I don't speak. It looks like Portuguese. So yeah, I will certainly be checking these out. These look fantastic. But I'm glad I got them. So thank you guys, sincerely. I'm sure both of you guys will be watching this later. I appreciate that, Angel and Brian. Just absolutely fantastic. 100% things that I'm into. Completely stoked. All right. Let me see what else is going on. Video Man says, watching Suburban Sasquatch, wonder why I find it more enjoyable than Rings of Power. I mean, honestly, I would probably agree. I've not seen either yet, unfortunately, but I tend to like Suburban Sasquatch type films a lot more than fantasy type films like Rings of Power. Dave says, Denver omelet nacho sounds intriguing. It was. So I made a diced ham with diced yellow onions and some poblano peppers. Got those nice and soft, added the ham in there. As that was done cooking, pulled that out, held it to the side. I made my own homemade nacho cheese sauce with the roux and everything. What's going on, Chris? I'm sharing how I made my dinner tonight, if that's all right.
Why I joined.
So yeah, I made this homemade nacho cheese sauce, and then after that, I put just some chips down, put some nacho cheese sauce on it, put this poblano pepper, onion, and ham on top of it, and then fried an egg, put it on top, and it was Denver omelet nachos, and it was amazing.
Sounds glorious. I'm in.
This is Chris from They Live by Film. What's going on?
What's happening?
Baby nice and asleep now?
We'll see, but seems like he's passed out.
I do not forget those days one bit. It was a rough, dark time.
Well, we try to keep some semblance of normalcy. So my wife's dancing tonight, and I was on single parent duty. By the way, speaking of food and consuming things, have you ever tried? This is a pre-made old fashioned. It's called Slow and Low.
No.
It's good. It's really good. They use like natural sugars. There's no fake sugar, like honey. I don't know if you drink, but it's very tasty.
Where'd you get it? Is it available widely or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every liquor store. It's like $24, and it's like a big, decent sized bottle, and it's super tasty. So
that sounds dangerous. I would drink more if I didn't have to make the cocktail myself, because I am not a beer drinker.
Yeah. I like a dark beer. Like a super dark beer, but
I like using them in cooking, but not to drink.
Oh, there we go. My comments are never on automatically. Here you go. I just
yeah, as a guest, you always got to add them.
There it is. All right, cool.
John says, have I ever tried ghost pepper chips from Trader Joe's? Not yet, but that does sound tasty. Are you into hot foods?
Oh yeah. If my head's hurting, I'm not having a good time.
What's going on, By Fur? Let's see. Stan Geezy just rewatched The Hidden, which is on the Criterion channel. The Hidden is good. Let's see. Working my way through the X-Files, says Dave Jones. Quiet Rob, what's going on, my friend? Josephine, October 9th marks the 30th anniversary of Under Siege. Do I own that on Blu-ray? I'm not sure. That's a good question. What are your feelings on Under Siege?
I listened to. There's a really good podcast called Blank Check.
Blank Check is great.
And they did an episode on Under Siege 2, I believe, where he's on a boat. Is Under Siege the one where he's on a boat?
I think it's the sequel. I don't remember.
And then Under Siege is the one where he's on a train. Hold on. Or maybe they're both. Hold on a second. Under Siege. Yeah. No, it was Under Siege that they did the Under Siege 2 where he's on a train. That's the one they did. Yeah, that's right. Under Siege is on a boat. No, it's a wacky premise, man. It's like Peak Seagal. I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've not seen the first one. God, probably since like 2000.
Yeah, it's been at least 15 years or so for me. But I'm very kind of unorganized in my life, but organized in my collecting.
Yeah.
And so I keep these lists of like things I want to try to buy in the future. And at one point I went through and I got every JCVD film and Seagal film and Stallone film, and I'm slowly collecting those. Did you know, this is random, but since we're on a tangent anyways, the first Stallone film was a porno. Have you ever seen it?
No, I've not seen it. I've heard about it. You know what's hilarious? I need to throw these away because my eyes are literally starting to hurt. Not throw them out, but get them away from me so I can cook with them tomorrow.
The Italian Stallion. If it's really hard to find the DVD, it took me a few months, but I got it, and the movie was terrible, but I've seen it.
Interesting. Yeah,
There you go.
I might have to look that up. By Fur says that third
exactly.
Brazilian film I got an 8.2. Nice. Final Blu-ray is Central Station, directed by the same person who did the Motorcycle Diaries. That makes sense with the 8.2 then. Video Manon, or I could send 3 Norwegian films that have good releases. I mean, I'm not going to say no. If you want to send me films, I will absolutely check them out. I'm certainly not going to say no, Video Manon.
We should do a live commentary one time.
Oh man, you know what sucks? I don't understand the YouTube algorithm. There was one time, like a year ago, I have not tried this since then, but a film that is in the public domain, I tried to stream it with everybody. It's free. It's available publicly, and actually talk about it as we watch it. It got flagged within 3 minutes and shut down. It's public domain.
If I were to guess, just to be on the safe side, they probably say, like, they probably don't know the difference, is my guess.
I would assume so.
Because you'd have to somehow tie it into like the public domain database, and that feels like something that would be a little tricky to just do casually. I don't know.
Unfortunately.
Don't get me into my day job though.
My sister's here. What's going on, Courtney? Oh, well, maybe not. She says here, but can't stay long because I'm going to see Terrifier 2. You suck. I wish I could be seeing that. Sister Agatha, what's going on? All right. First off, how's They Live by Film lately? What's going on?
Oh man, I'm reading all these comments. Oh dude, it's great. We just recorded yesterday. We just recorded a reunion episode with Error 4444, which I'm super excited. That's coming out. It could be, I guess. Oh shit! It's possible that it's like 3 Fridays because we're almost at a Friday. So we have one dropping tomorrow. Then we'll have like our regular one, and then the one after that. So, but those guys are just awesome. I know you had them on recently too. I watched that. They're cool. They're easy to talk to.
Absolutely.
That's fun. Big one for me. 88 Films finally said yes, so we're trying to set a time.
Wow.
But I've been chasing them for over a year.
Wow.
So I'm super excited about that. And then speaking of something you just had on your show, Fran from Radiance. I just texted you. I was excited. I texted you.
Yep.
But Fran said yes, so we're going to be chatting in November. But yeah, there's just a few to fill in. Severin's been hard to get. I'm a little jealous you got that guy, but I'm happy for you, of course. Severin's been tough, and then Criterion. I guess those would be kind of like the big ones that we still haven't talked to.
And then, of course, Second Sight, who is one person, and they will hide for years.
Yeah, apparently they'll never do an interview. So his name is Chris too. So I mean, I leaned hard on it, but and the guy from Fractured Visions made a personal intro. Well, not intro, but like a recommendation, I guess. And he just wouldn't do it. So
wow,
it's all right.
That's rough. Yeah, Severin is hard too, I guess. But I mean, I put time in with Andrew. I've been friends with Andrew for like 5 years at this point. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, but Fran making the rounds finally is nice to see everybody getting some time with him. He has been more busy than people realize, I think, like scheduling down to the minute basically for the things that he has to do. Yeah. It is so crazy how much some of these people that run these labels, they're actually booked minute to minute, and that's not a joke or exaggerating at all.
Yeah. I mean, his like attention to detail and sort of like quality, control is out of this world. So I don't know if I told you this. Somebody in this chat, I don't know if they're joining tonight, but one of your fans is, if you're here and you're part of that gold membership Discord group from Radiance, say hi, because I'm also part of it. And I saw the video that they posted of you interviewing Fran in there, and it's got a couple thumbs up, so you might have some new fans. But Sweet. If you're okay to introduce yourself here in the comments, let me know. But I won't out your name in case you don't want to. But it'd be cool to say hi, because you have a fan in that world, and I've seen them over there as well. So
that Radiance Discord is a very private club at the moment. I'm stoked for everybody that got to get in there. I wish I could have swung it, man. That's like a dream to be able to get the first 3 years from an up and coming label that you trust. And I mean, especially after speaking to him for gosh, with the time that we spent offline as well for almost an hour and a half, he is just an incredible person. I'm stoked for the people that get to be, all the time talking with Fran.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best in the world for sure, right? Like he's on that level of Criterion. I mean, like he built Arrow up to what it is, and now he's gonna go do it again. So, did John? Does that comment for me? Did you listen to the Visual Vengeance one we did?
Yeah, he listens to all your stuff.
Oh, dude, thank you so much. That Matt is like the sweet. That was such a fun episode to do, and then he introduced me to Dan, who you've had on here as well.
Yep.
Who's awesome. That conversation he had with you was great. I think he was. I loved listening to that one with you. Dan was, yeah, but that whole like SOV regional world, they're all super nice.
Well, that, and they're all super close. Like everybody seems, I mean, they're all running in the same circle, and the circle every year just gets a little smaller, and it seems to be the big guys left. And now, like 80% of them are Vinegar Syndrome partners, so they're all just hanging out, colleagues, and chilling basically. So yeah, it's nice to see the shared experiences from everybody and keep it going with everything, because there's not a ton to mine there, but the good ones, they're on the way for sure.
Yeah, that's a different level of passion. It's cool hearing those guys talk about how much they have to sit through to find the good stuff. I love it. What about you? You've been killing it. You're going like broadening in your industry focus. You're talking to different people. You had Kat freaking Dennings on. Like, you're doing great.
At Ellinger, Kat Dennings would be fun though.
Oh, Kat, sorry, Kat Ellinger. Sorry.
No, that was a great slip of the tongue. Yeah, it's been an interesting time. I've still got a couple more, same as you, recorded, just ready to post basically. The one that I was going to save till next week, I'm probably going to post early tomorrow, actually. There was, for anybody that's paid attention, there was a death actually this week that I would like to highlight for a quick second. Not somebody that's going to get a whole lot of publicity, because they have not been on a lot of releases as of late, but somebody that's been important in a few different, we'll say, scenes for sure. And this person has been on a bunch of Vinegar Syndrome releases and done what they can. But this person is Sergio Mims. So Sergio Mims is the person that ran the Black Harvest Film Festival. That is just this amazing film festival that showcases Black African-American, African diaspora cinema. And he was just a really great critic, historian, writer. He did the commentary for Penitentiary for Vinegar Syndrome. He did Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song. He did one or two others. He was actually also the assistant director for Penitentiary, I think, back when it was filmed. But he is just suddenly passed. He's young. He was about to be doing a whole bunch of other stuff, and it's just kind of a shock to a bunch of these people that contribute to releases. And just so happened to be that one of my interviews that I'd already recorded and I was saving, we talk about Sergio for a few minutes. So I'm probably going to be putting that up tomorrow, just to give him his moment and his due. But yeah, it is rough to see a lot of these people just pass out of nowhere lately.
That one of the sweetest moments that I kind of almost even choked up when I was recording was when the Crescendo House guy was talking about recording with Obayashi's wife and daughter, because he was like, he just passed right as he was like releasing these movies of his, and so it's kind of one of these like artists that they get more popular posthumously, which is too bad, because like this guy from Crescendo is over there like with the setup, like interviewing the wife, interviewing the daughter. They're getting to tell these stories, and like this beautiful moment is captured on the discs, and it's just like this extremely cathartic moment for them, getting to talk about their husband and dad. And yeah, it's interesting, man. There certainly is a it makes everything feel very real. But that's cool that you got to do that. The timing is perfect, it looks like.
Yeah, I wish it was Sergio himself, but it was a close friend that has worked with Sergio, and I mean, middle of the night last night, I got a message from this person, and just, it was just tough to read. Anyways, not to be dour about all that, let's go into some of these questions, and some of these we can both answer. So first one from By Fur, what's your favorite Vinegar Syndrome subscription movie disc from this year? Is there one that has stuck out as amazing for you so far?
I mean, I'm gonna not to sound like a bro here, but it has to be Roadhouse, right?
Oh, you don't have the disc yet. So what if
Oh,
it's
that I
shit?
that I already own. Um, the the there. Okay, the move towards releasing. So I don't know. Vinegar Syndrome's been releasing a lot of MGM stuff,
Yep.
which makes me super excited because Severin's also been releasing some studio stuff, and now Vinegar Syndrome is like. I really hope this trend continues. Criterion's big into like Netflix, and
Yep.
they have all these different inroads. Um, so um, their trend towards studio releases is probably my favorite trend of the year. Um, favorite disc? That's a really good question. I keep a very detailed list of all this because I just want
Yes, you
to
do.
I just want to answer the question properly rather than off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Um,
You're better than me. Let me just look over at the collection. What has come out this year?
well, that's the thing that these plants behind me are not helping me at all.
If I'm going for like most stacked Vinegar Syndrome disc, I'm probably gonna have to go for the Thriller release, maybe.
Ooh,
Um,
that's
although I'm also I'm one of those idiots compared to other people that was really stoked about Drop Dead Fred coming from Vinegar
oof,
Syndrome.
yeah,
I was a favorite from childhood. Um, gosh, I mean, in all reality, Cloak and Dagger was a very surprising disc that I was stoked that we got. But maybe the most impressed I've been this year, and maybe we can get into this too. But The Incredible Melting Man on 4K, I love
oh
that movie, and it looked incredible on 4K.
yeah. Yeah, I haven't actually seen this new release. I haven't upgraded to 4K yet, so I'm still Blu-ray. But I haven't seen the new transfer. But that was a good one. I mean, I'm just going back. Um, Drop Dead Fred is a really good one, just in terms of ones that was a little bit controversial though because it
The
was supposed to
Severin
come out
thing.
from Seven, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I know the answer. So I never thought Tix would get that kind of release. And Tix is a movie that like I've loved for a long time. Um I'll pretty much follow Brian Usna to the end. Like if Brian Usna told me to jump off the volcano, I know it'd be like a hell of a volcano.
Yeah.
So like I'd try it just for the experience. um so that one, and then also uh they did Flesh for Frankenstein, right? That's probably one of my favorites.
Yes, but both of those ones that you just said, those are both 2021 releases.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, Tix was last October. It's been a full year already.
No shit. Okay. Then probably Dead Heat. That was Dead Heat this
Oh
year?
yeah, yep, that was a surprising one. Yep.
Yeah, probably Dead Heat then. Um,
Josephine says, "Hello, Chris. Nice to meet you. Have you read anything good lately?"
oh man, thank you, Justin. What a great question. Yes and no. So, um, the what I'm reading mostly right now is books around AI and the metaverse. So not super interesting to talk about on here, because more for my day job. However, I if you haven't seen, so Severin put out the House of Psychotic Women book. Um, wow, like it is thick. I got it in the mail. They've been shipping out early. Like it's not supposed to
Yeah.
release till late October, but they've been shipping out. It's a thick, beautiful book. I get it, but it's like literally like the way that my room is set up with my baby where he's sleeping. It's like this far from his head behind a curtain, so I don't want to get it. Um, but it's a absolutely stunning book. It's sort of like um, Zaire La Jeunesse. How do you say that name?
Kirla.
Um, hmm?
Kirla Janice.
Thank you. So it's basically her like take on like all these amazing films with women that are
Yeah.
perceived to have some sort of mental illness or at least on the edge of sanity. And it's like a very thorough, deeply researched book that's beautiful. And if I can talk about one thing on that, so one thing I really hope happens, um, the something weird. Lisa said she hopes that next year or possibly the year after, but she's going to start producing coffee table books of like eras of film.
That's right. Yeah.
So she wants to start making like nudie cuties, like the definitive book on like that, and I think that'd be amazing because the stuff they have is so good. So I really hope that happens. What about you, Josephine? What have you been reading lately?
That's a great question, though. I'm glad you asked. Most of my stuff lately has been booklets, just trying to keep up with the releases as I'm going through these. I try to pour through as many as I can as I'm watching. Gosh, specifically, which one was the last one that I read all the way through? Oh man, I can't even look at my recent watches. I've been so busy. I haven't logged anything on Letterboxd in like 2.5 weeks, and I have a list of just stuff I need to go write. Anyways, it's something from the last couple weeks that I've watched for sure. Bruiser just broke down and got Steckler in the House of Psychotic Women set. Nice. Orbit got both of them in today, so a lot of people are probably going to have those be hitting their mailboxes soon. Video Man in. I think it's weird I don't have more people. Oh yeah, I never have a ton of viewers. It's fine. Eric just got back from Terrifier 2. Pretty awesome. Nice. Stan says, really love Vinegar Syndrome's release of Girlfriend from Hell. Yeah. That was Culture Shock, I think, that put that out through their partner label. Yeah, they did great in that one. It was such a fun movie. John says, incredible Melting Man color timing, a little too hot. Perhaps compared to the Blu-ray, but I think it was a little more accurate, I think, than that last one. Let's see. Josephine says, what's your baby's name? I don't even know that answer.
Oh, that's probably Owen.
Owen, nice.
Yeah, I say baby. He's 5 now, but yeah. It's easy to say that. Yeah, Owen now.
Of course. The new Umbrella releases are the best. I love the slips. I mean, they're doing some good stuff down in Australia for sure.
Holy cow! Are we gonna talk about that tonight? The good what is it? The Good A Down Under bundle or?
Yeah, I didn't even post them on my announcements. We are going to talk about them. I've got the tab open to discuss, but
all right.
They the main reason I didn't share is because they're mostly the same films that have been released so many times. I don't think there's any new features on here. Let me verify before I say that. You know what's odd though? They I think they copied the special features from the last release they did of these. The first line that you read under features says new audio commentary with writer, producer, director Toby Hooper.
Nope, that's not true.
Nope. I first saw that. I went, wait a minute. I don't think I need to post this. Dead Sea Life. Lisa Petrucci is one of my favorite people on the planet. Super close chiller friend.
Oh, she's so great. So great. Then, just an hour. I've only spent with an hour with her, but she was awesome.
It's a great conversation too. Josephine answered you. Recently read Ella Minnow Peak by Mark Dunn and The Haunting of Grade 3 by Grace Macaron. I probably said that last name terribly. Toasted says, hype for Don't Open Until Christmas. Me too. Have you seen that one?
No, but I've been hearing about it. People talk about it my whole life off and on.
Yeah, I've got the Mondo Macabro DVD, and I've just never put it in. I try to make a decent Christmas playlist every year of movies to go through, and it's just always skipped over for some reason.
Oh, you have kids, right?
Sadly. Bob, what's going on? Good to see you, my friend. Let's see. Either of us, any big surprising cinematic blind spots? That's a good question.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I've got a bunch.
Yeah. I'll tell you. Let me just run through. I always keep the They Shoot Pictures list open, so I happen to just have it open because I'm like you. I'm way behind on my writing. Yeah. So let's see. I've never seen Tokyo Story. Just running through the top 10. Never seen The Searchers. Oh no, that's not true. I just saw that. That was all right. I saw Taxi Driver so long ago. I can't remember it. Never seen Battleship Potemkin. Never seen Raging Bull. Never seen City Lights. Never seen Some Like It Hot. This is just never seen Touch of Evil. That's just the top 30 films on that list. What about you?
I've got quite a lot of blind spots. If we're just going individual titles, there's a lot.
Yeah, I can go all night.
Yeah, I've mentioned before, and actually your podcast is one of the times I went real deep into this. I grew up in such a small town that all they got were basically modern mainstream films.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to wait till I was like middle of my 20s to start to branch out and learn. And let's see, how old was I when I had my first kid? Carry the three, 28. So it wasn't that long after. So unfortunately, I'm still pretty far behind. This whole room around me is my retirement plan, and I will get there. I promise. But like my biggest eras, I don't have a lot from like the 30s, 40s, and 50s that I've seen. That's got to be down less than 50 total from that time.
You can mostly skip the 50s. I know it's controversial. There's no. I'm not a big fan of melodrama. Like, it's all right.
I completely agree, and people in the chat have roasted me many times for that. I think the 50s are probably the worst decade for film since we started recording films.
That being said, The Night of the Hunter, when is that? Because that is one of my favorite movies.
Well, the highs from the 50s are very high, but a lot of the rest are just kind of rough. I'm going to go one more question, then we're going to start on announcements. Ice wants to know, what is our Grail interview guest? Great question.
You go first.
If I'm keeping in the boutique industry, that would be a different question than like anybody in the world. If I'm staying in the boutique industry, it would honestly probably be Second Sight. The amount of love and time that I've poured through all of their stuff, I would love to have that pay off as an investment into a wonderful discussion. But it would probably be up there with Criterion, just to hear some of the history there and how as a company you shaped basically the entire boutique industry. I will leave out of my questions that I think that they've fallen far from that pedestal, but
for me it's real quick. I want to say, Sardis, surprisingly, I don't stream. So I'm the reason I haven't seen all the movies that I was talking about is because I have like 5 concurrent things I'm doing at every given time. So I keep on Reddit, I have a Criterion by Spine where I'm like, every week I have to watch a new Criterion movie, and I'm up to 60 or something, 70 or something like that on there. I'm going through every single Arrow video US up to 100. I have to stop after 100, but I'm up to like 84 on that. Jeez. I've got I'm doing one boutique label that I'm running through in full. So I'm going through Utopia right now, posting that on Boutique Blu-ray. And then I'm doing a director run that I'm always doing a director run. So I'm going through what's his name? Kieslowski right now. So I'm going through all of his early documentaries. Totally not worth it, but I'm just excited to get to his features. So that's why I haven't, not that I'm streaming Great British Bake Off, although this is the only season of Great British Bake Off.
He was talking about right now. He's saying, stop streaming with me and go watch a movie.
Oh, done. Sure. I'll check out.
Have a good night. See you
guys. Okay, so yeah, I've seen the Decalogue. Yeah, I've seen it 2 or 3 times. I love it. So what was the
interview guest that's a grail for you?
Bill Lustig. That's my grail. I heard an interview he did on Fractured Listens, which if y'all haven't listened to that, like way before my podcast, go listen to Fractured Listens. The guests they've had are unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they've only had like 11 episodes. It's really fast to get through them all. And one of the ones was Bill Lustig, and I was just like, like the whole time. Like, he's just raw energy. I think he would be a very annoying friend, but as somebody who's like put the boutique, the DVD industry on his back and built Anchor Bay and built Blue Underground, and just like the stories he has are crazy. So
other than boutique physical media stuff, what about anybody else? Because I've got like filmmaker wise, I would die happy if I could ever somehow get like 5 questions in with John Carpenter.
Oh yeah. John Carpenter's a good one. I've always been drawn to this like Roger Corman would probably be one for me. Just to hear the way that he thinks about life in general, like he's just I like his approach to life. Who's Stephen Billings and how did he interview John Carpenter? Oh, Bill Lustig. Who are you? That's amazing. I want to listen to
Stephen Billings is the guy behind Chasing Labels, the podcast.
Oh, awesome. That's a good podcast. Good job, Stephen. Sorry, I don't know that name. I heard a few episodes a few while back. I'll listen to more now so I can catch up. Yeah, that's awesome. I hope you find the audio. Roger Corman. I think I would say Lloyd Kaufman, but I think honestly he'd probably do it. I'm gonna actually reach out to him soon and see. Everybody I've talked to said just ask him. He'll say yes. So I'm gonna try. Um, yeah, I guess I really like surrealism. So you'd probably be talking about like Louis Spoonwell or somebody who just didn't really care about the rules of cinema and kind of made his own stuff.
Right.
Alejandro Jodorowsky, although I listen to a lot of commentaries from him, he's kind of borderline insufferable, but super interesting dude.
Right.
Yeah, it's a fun topic. We can switch and just make it this for tonight.
Just a Q&A for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Are we ready for some announcements now that we're 35 minutes into this? All right. First up from last week, Imprint came and just dropped a massive pile of amazingness. These are all going to be December announcements for Imprint. These are coming on December 28th. And they are mostly, I believe, limited to 1,500 this go around. And for some reason, they dropped really low for a month or two. Like only 1,000 copies were being made on some of them, which is really odd. But yeah, let's go into this real quick. So this is The Killer Elite from 1975, which also got, I think it was a Scorpion releasing Blu-ray of this in the US, or maybe Kino, one of the two. But James Caan, Robert Duvall, kind of two of the greatest of all time. This is a great film. Have you ever seen The Killer Elite?
No, but I have it because next year, I guess this could be next year at this point, I'm going to do a Peck and Paw run. So this will be part of my Peck and Paw run.
Yeah, Peck and Paw's got a lot of highs and a few not as high, but yeah.
Well, apparently the back half of his career, he was just like a cocaine-fueled like fever dream. So I'm curious to see what happens with some of those movies.
So this is going to be a 2-disc hardbox edition, and one is the original version, is what they're calling it, and then an alternative theatrical cut. They didn't really go into detail on what that meant, and there's not a whole lot of details out there actually on what that is. So we'll find out more about that later. This has a whole bunch of random commentaries and interviews and featurettes. There's a new interview with Kim Newman on this, whole bunch of image galleries. This is a pretty damn stacked release. So this is definitely one that I'm super stoked to see.
Yeah.
Next up, The Eagle Has Landed from 1976, another 2-disc hardbox release. I think this is the second of 3 of their fancy hardbox releases for the month. This is a World War II film. Nazi officer Max Radl, played by Robert Duvall, devises a plan to kidnap or kill the British Prime Minister. Approved by German commander Heinrich Himmler, the scheme moves forward with Colonel Kurt Steiner leading the mission, aided by Liam Devlin, an Irishman with a deep hatred of England. As the plan unfolds, it seems to be going well until certain events threaten the group's shot at success. The cast in this: Robert Duvall, Donald Pleasance, Michael Caine, and Donald Sutherland. I mean, that is everything that I want to see in a film. We got audio commentaries with Howard S. Berger and Steve Mitchell. New interview with Kim Newman. New video essay on John Sturgis by Daniel Kramer. A whole bunch of other stuff, and then on disc 2, an extended edition of this film. What do you think about Imprint?
They're confusing. Imprint is like the Via Vision one, right?
Yes.
So it's weird. They're funny label because like I was debating do I want to go complete on them. But the answer was like quickly no, because they produce a lot of like really random Australian TV and like random American TV shows and stuff. So they seem to like, I kind of equate them to like an Anchor Bay, where they're just going like big and wide, and then they have like a version, an arm of their company that's producing these beautiful releases like this. Because some of this, I mean, the what was the set they did? The Zhang Yimou set they did, freaking beautiful, and I like. So when they hit it, they really nail it.
Yeah, completely agree there. Brian says, howdy at a metal show. 80s metal band Raven. Wanted to say hello. Looking forward to hearing or watching when I get home. Please do. I talked about the peppers you sent. Appreciate that. Real quick, Stan Geezy just announced today that John Waters is about to embark on his first film in almost 20 years, adaptation of the novel Liarmouth. Are you into John Waters? Because I was stoked when I heard that today.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, any outsider filmmaker like is an instant. But yeah. No, I love John Waters.
Yep, Maryland coming hard again with John Waters. Loving that. Next up, this is their third hard box release for this month. This is Burn, or also known as Quemada, from 1969. This has Marlon Brando in it, and this release, I'd never heard of this movie even, and it looks pretty damn great. The stuff that they got on here, we got a new video essay on Marlon Brando's mid-career films by Daniel Kramer, featurette from Ballyhoo Productions on Brando in Europe, new interview with the Italian critic Ivelisse Bernola, and then a restored director's cut of the film. I mean, the stuff that they do is great on the releases that they go hard on. Like, this looks fantastic.
Yeah. This movie is okay. Real quick on the last one, if y'all haven't seen from John Sturges, if y'all haven't seen Bad Day at Black Rock, I'd put my money on the best Western ever made.
Wow.
And then, anyways, I haven't seen Eagles Landed, but then if you go to this one is the director from Battle of Algiers, if I believe Pontecorvo. Let me see if that's right. But this guy is a fantastic filmmaker. Yeah. Gio Pontecorvo. He's great. I haven't seen this movie, but Battle of Algiers is really good. So, I mean, I'll probably pick these up. Damn it, I'm trying not to pick up as much from imprint because there's just so much to do.
Yeah, and I think their first release was May of 2020, if I'm remembering right, and they're already up to like Spine 200, literally already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They, like, if you look through, it's like a lot of like really random stuff, but then like they'll come out with like, these kind of things, and you're like, I don't know what to think of you.
Yeah, most of their releases have been really impressive, though. Next up, Fear is the Key with Barry Newman. This is from 1972. Following the death of his family in an airplane crash, underwater salvage expert John Talbot hatches an elaborate scheme to bring those responsible to justice. Sounds interesting. This one has no known features because they're announcing them later. This is, again, limited to 1,500, coming at the end of December.
When was, let's see, this was 72?
Yeah.
When did Kingsley play Gandhi? Sorry, my internet's running a bit.
I think it was after 72.
It was, right? It was like an 80s movie, right?
I think so, yeah.
So this is like a young, sexy Ben Kingsley. No, I say that kind of half joking, but he was in a movie called Sexy Beast, so in my mind, I only think of him as sexy. But, oh yeah, The Wicker Man from Imprint I should have brought that up. That's a great call out.
Yeah, that's amazing. The Warriors release is incredible.
Gandhi was 82. Yeah.
Full decade later. Wow.
Cool.
Next one, Gregory Peck in Pork Chop Hill from 1959. This, first off, this whole month from them seems like not meaning anything negative by it, but seems like a very dude month, like war films and Nazi film. True. And yeah, Marlon Brando, yeah, looking great. Toasted Media says, got to see Fear is the Key on the big screen at an Exhumed film show some years back. That's awesome.
That's cool.
So yeah, this one looks good. Another one where they don't have all of the features yet, I believe, or maybe. Oh yeah, they do here. They got a new audio commentary and then a vintage documentary, and that is about it on this one. And then go ahead.
No, man, go ahead. Sorry.
All I was going to say is I think this is the last one. This is A Rage to Live from 1965. This one has new audio commentary on it, new interview with Neil Sinyard on the career of actress Suzanne Plachette, new featurettes on Paralyzed Segments, Female Sexuality in Cinema Before the End of the Code. And that's it on this one.
See, these guys are like this one that you just showed. I haven't heard of the one you just showed.
Pork
Oh,
Chop Hill.
sorry, I've heard of Pork Chop Hill. I hadn't heard the director by name, but he did Mutiny on the Bounty. Mutiny on the Bounty. This is what I'm saying. Like this, they're really smart. Like this, if I was running a label, this is exactly what I would do. Take like an extremely well-known director, take a slightly lesser-known film, make a beautiful release of it, and it's got to sell out. Especially at some of these. This one, yeah, this is 1,500 copies. I mean, these are going to sell out for them.
Yeah, and they were taking a good 6 and 7 months when they first came onto the scene to sell out, and that's most of them were like 1,500 or 2,000 runs. These are selling out now within like 60 days of release. So it is rough nowadays.
Yeah.
Let's continue on to some Arrow announcements, and this is, oh my God. So when this got announced, this was potentially my favorite announcement of this entire year so far. There's probably 4 or 5 videos on this channel and then my other channel, Discovering Cinema, where all I've been doing is begging for a release of the Ju-On series. And this isn't quite everything, but this covers all of the good stuff and some stuff that's not great. But oh my gosh, have you seen any of these films ever?
Oh yeah, I was just pulling up. I wanted to be sure. I'm pretty sure I've seen 3 of them, but I'm just pulling up. You know, IMDb does this thing called connections. I just want to see to make sure that's true. I saw Ju-On 1, 2, and then White Ghost. For some reason, I missed Black Ghost. I didn't realize there's 6 total.
Yeah, there's a lot, and then there's
7.
actually, I think there was a Netflix series or something like that. I've not watched that yet, but so the Ju-On films are mostly very good. The first is actually probably like 3rd or 4th favorite in the series for me. This is a really well done series, good lore. Really nice to see this finally getting a good release, though. We get the first one in 4K, full on UHD. We get the rest on Blu-rays. A couple of these are sharing a disc with a bunch of features. It's Arrow, so they're probably going to do pretty great with them. Disc 1 is going to have Ju-On the Curse and Ju-On the Curse 2. Disc 2 and 3 is going to have Ju-On the Grudge on 4K on one disc and Blu-ray on the other disc. Disc 4 is Ju-On the Grudge 2. Disc 5, Ju-On White Ghost and Ju-On Black Ghost. And again, loaded with features. Like, there are so many, I had to literally write "and more" in this post because Instagram said no. Just because there's so much coming on this. We are getting like introductions to films, we're getting commentaries, we're getting I think there's alternate endings, there's outtakes. There is so much in this that is just a remarkable release from Arrow. I've been waiting on this ever since they announced like the Ringu collection, the One Missed Call trilogy, and then I was just, okay, 6 months later they're gonna do Ju-On, and now here it was like 2.5 years later, and we finally have this. I have been so happy about this announcement.
Is your favorite in the series the Sarah Michelle Gellar one?
I mean, it's not terrible. It's nowhere near. Well, maybe it's a hot take. I actually think I like that one better than the first Ju-On. I'm gonna be honest.
Nice. Well, it's the same director, so it's not incredibly offensive.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Sarah Michelle Gellar isn't like the most amazing actor or anything, but yeah, this release looks incredible. Really nice box art on this. They have confirmed multiple times that the Blu-rays are Region B locked. Unfortunately, this is only coming in the UK on December 19th. That 4K disc, of course, will be region free, but all of the Blu-rays are going to be locked, and that's no surprise. The rights holders in the US have no plans to put this out, seemingly.
Who would do it even?
Well, I think
Scream
it was
Factory or something.
I think it might have even been a Lionsgate owned title.
Okay.
Just based on how the rights have fallen on some of these, I think. Yeah, it's been odd. All right. What was that next one? Oh yeah, 4K in the UK only. We get Croupier from 1998. This is the Clive Owen film that pretty much put him on the map as far as a lot of people are concerned. I've never seen this one though. Have you seen this one?
No, this only had one copy in the video store in Blockbuster when I worked there. I never got to see it. It wasn't super popular. But I was working
Toasted
there around
Media,
that.
thank you for that. Go ahead.
No,
Groupier.
that's it. I haven't seen it. The guy, this is from the director of Flash Gordon, though. So, I mean, and Get Carter. So, I mean, I'll watch it.
Yeah, this is done by Mike Hodges. Like I said, this is a full-on 4K release. There's a brand new feature-length documentary on the bonus disc, which is about Mike Hodges, and it's called A Filmmaker's Life. There is a collector's booklet with new writing by Barry Forshaw and Philip Kemp. And then, of course, we get a second disc with that documentary that is only on Blu-ray. So it looks like you get the film only on 4K, not on Blu-ray, which is interesting for a film that they've not put out before. It seems like when they've been doing that, most of the time they've made them dual format.
They did, yeah. Unless it's ones like the Argento films was only 4K.
Yep.
Some of that, but yeah, for a new release, yeah, that is a bit odd.
Let's see. What was the next one? Oh, yeah. Speaking of re-releasing titles, Silent Running is getting a 4K release. This is coming in the US on 4K, and then in the UK, they did not get the Blu-ray release, so they are also getting a Blu-ray release of this one. This Steelbook release here, this is a Zavvi exclusive, and that will be dual format, both 4K and Blu-ray. And they're saying brand new 4K restoration, which I don't know if that is somehow a different restoration from the one a couple years ago. But yeah, this was just fairly recently released in the US, so I would be kind of shocked if they did a whole new restoration.
Yeah, wasn't this Arrow Academy, or am I crazy? Was this Arrow Standard?
It is Arrow Standard, I believe.
No, you're right. You're right. Okay, I don't know what I'm thinking. This is a cool movie, though. It's a great movie.
Yeah, and lots of good special features. This one's just basically a classic. There is the standard slipcover release that is also coming out in the UK and the US. The UK is also going to get a slipcover Blu-ray release of this at the same time. They're also putting out Nightmare at Noon in the UK, and the US and Canada is getting a release of this on December 6th. I believe this was released by Shout Factory or Scream Factory some years ago, I think. This is a Nico Mastorakis film.
Nice.
Have you seen many of his?
Yeah, well, many is a subjective.
Yes. We'll say at least two.
Yeah, I've seen 3 of his movies. Strictly because of the Arrow releases. I love him. I think he's amazing. I'll watch anything that they put out of his.
Nice.
We can have a Nico special. I think he's super underrated when you talk about directors that just do wacky stuff.
Yeah, all of his stuff, it's not stylized like in the classic sense of stylized, but there's something about his stuff that you can just feel it's a Nico film, and I love that. And I also really appreciate that most of Arrow's releases of his have all had very similar artwork. Yeah.
Have you seen Island of Death before?
Yes.
It has that movie. It's just like I was like, I don't know what is going on, and it's all really like insane, but I love it. I don't know. I was just like drawn in, and then he goes off and makes like this totally 80s like horror slasher flick, Zero Boys. That's just good. Like it's just a really good slasher flick. So yeah, I don't know. I'll watch anything from him.
All of his stuff is great that I've seen so far. But the coolest thing, featuring an epic score by Stanley Myers and this little name known as Hans Zimmer. What? And spectacular backdrop of Arches National Park. I mean, this screams fantastic. Don't know how I've never seen this. This looks amazing. We got let's see, the Films of Nico Mastorakis Nightmare at Noon featurette on the making of the film with commentary from Nico himself, behind the scenes footage, original on-set interviews with actors Wings Hauser, Bo Hopkins, Kimberly Beck, George Kennedy, and Brian James. And that's pretty much it. It's not a fully stacked release, but looks pretty cool.
I'm trying to imagine George Kennedy in a Nico Mastorakis film. I just picture him from Cool Hand Luke. Taking water bus. Taking them off bus. That's all.
Eric says Croupier played for seemingly months in a theater in Chicago. Remembered it being pretty good. Nice. Sardis bought Silent Running already, one of his favorites. What's going on? I believe that's Cam. Hello. Bruiser says, this art has me sold. A Nightmare at Noon, what a title. Yeah, it is a great title. Video Man says, In the Cold of the Night was sexy.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I saw that's another one of Nico's titles.
That's a Vinegar Syndrome release, right?
Oh,
Am I remembering that right?
I don't know.
In the Cold. Yep, Vinegar Syndrome.
Nice.
That's what I thought. And that one's rated NC-17.
Tippi Hedren, of all people.
I've heard she goes full backside. I'm just kidding. This one is actually pretty cool and near and dear to me. Arrow is putting out The Leech. This is a modern film that is Christmas stylized, themed, whatever. This is written and directed by Eric Pennycoff and stars Graham Skipper, somebody that I follow quite a bit. He's a very common name out there in podcasting, in acting. He's done a handful of big movies put out by Scream Factory and a couple other labels put out some of his stuff. But
he looks like if Brendan Fraser and Harry Potter had a baby. I'm just seeing a picture of Graham Skipper.
I would love to see that. Wow. Brendan Radcliffe. So one of the cool things I wanted to throw out about Graham is this month he is releasing one of the coolest books that I cannot wait to get my hands on. He got approached by Toho themselves to put out the ultimate Godzilla like definitive guide, basically. He worked close with them. It's getting translated into like 18 different languages. It was supposed to come out in September, but I guess there's been all kinds of supply chain issues again with paper products. So we're looking at, I believe, the end of October. There is no Amazon release on it yet or anything, but we should be hearing about that soon. But from what I hear, The Leech is incredible, and supposedly Graham is fantastic in it. So excited to see this one. I've been waiting on this one for months. He was allowed to say that this was coming from Arrow by the end of the year, and then of course they held it to December since it's a Christmas film.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. I don't know anything about that.
One I've not heard anybody talk about in a long time, Second Run. This is a company that does a lot of random, not really super mainstream films. Most of their stuff is fairly art house. This is Dragon's Return from 1967. Set at an unspecified past time in a world ruled by superstition, a reclusive potter nicknamed Dragon is exiled from his isolated homestead. He returns years later, aiming to win back the trust of the villagers, but faces suspicion, guilt, and simmering violence. This is a Slovak film, and it's going to have a HD transfer of the film, which was a new 2K restoration. There is a new and exclusive documentary on this from 2022 called Dragon's Return. Or on Dragon's Return, apologies. Then there's also a newly filmed introduction by a Slovakian scholar, and then there is some archival stuff. They had put this out on DVD years ago, but this is the first Blu-ray release of the film. They do a lot of prestige type titles. Have you checked out much from Second Run?
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm gonna eventually go complete on Second Run, not at any good pace. But what I'm doing is I'm buying 5 at a time, and then when I watch them, I'm buying 5 more. I love this label. Like I don't talk about them a lot, which shame on me. I should, but like they're putting out a lot of like it's world cinema. It's not even. I mean, it's I guess kind of mostly European, but honestly, it's just world cinema. And every release has like it's very clean, and like their graphic style is just very clean and precise. And they do amazing special features. I mean, I think they go toe to toe with Criterion. They just don't have the name. Like, I love this company, so I'm glad you put them on here.
and literally like nobody ever highlights them, and that's one of the reasons I really wanted to hit this home. I was trying to look behind me. I know I've got, I think this is one. This is the closest one I've got. Oh, that's right. They did, what is this, Hungarian, I think? The Beauty and the Beast from, what is it, 1946? This is just a gorgeous release. Everything on this, it's, just incredible. There's a 20-page booklet with new writing on this. Brand new HD transfer from the original materials. This one, just incredible work. And I believe all of their stuff is Eastern European foreign films primarily.
Yeah, I mean, their very first release was from South America, but as a rule, they have more white people than not having white people as directors. But they do have world cinema. They have some African cinema a little bit as well.
Oh, nice. But I don't think I realized. So Eric says, watch second run's release of Ikari XB1. Nice. All right. Let's go back to this next one. All right.
Sci-fi movie, right? Sorry, I think that's a Czech sci-fi movie. It's got a different title. Yeah, Voyage to the End of the Universe is how I know it. Yeah. Anyways, sorry. That's cool. I wanted to see that.
You're good. This is a little known director named Quentin Tarantino. Is we're getting a 4K of Pulp Fiction. This is coming in a steelbook that you can pre-order now from Best Buy. There's also a standard release, the 4K and a slipcover and all that is coming out. I don't think they've given us all the details on special features, but I would bet there's going to be literally nothing new on there. Yeah. We got nothing new on Reservoir Dogs, so the odds are very high that there's nothing new on here. So I'm curious about this because the old Tarantino release of Inglourious Basterds, a lot of people lambasted that 4K. It wasn't as bad as people made it out to be, but it still wasn't, mind-blowing or anything. This one I'm curious about because this is a completely different studio. These are being done by Paramount, who owns some of the Miramax titles, and I'm real curious how they're going to treat something that is a landmark title.
I'm on like a real petty boycott of Paramount because of what they did with their Presents line. I'm not a huge fan. Like, I don't know. I don't want to. I don't know.
Bring it down.
No, I mean, I'm not even like. It's just super dorky. Like, I don't. It's. I shouldn't.
You have the floor. Go ahead.
No, it just. They got all. Oh gosh, I really have the floor. You start your video. So here's the thing about Paramount Presents. I don't know. They just like when they first came in, they got all these movies and they tried to be like boutique, but it felt like kind of like an alien trying to like get a definition of what boutique was and try to put it out. And they didn't have a lot of features, and sometimes they didn't even do new transfers. I know they're getting a little bit better on some stuff, but like I don't know. I never really like. I don't feel as excited to support them, and so. And now, I do like the fact that they have at least a physical media department, which is good. But I don't know. I just not excited about them.
I get it. We've kind of talked about this before because I was all in on Paramount Present at first. I was like, these look great. I think they announced like 4 of them, and so I was like, oh man, it's a good label. This is the studio really trying to go in on physical media. I'll support them all in. Then they showed up and they were not great. And then, there were some promising reviews of the next couple. And, 1 out of every 4 were decent transfers, which is not a good rate for a line like Paramount Presents. I wasn't loving the packaging. And then all of a sudden that 1 out of 4 started to slip to 1 out of 6. Maybe 1 out of 7. And then they started doing some shady stuff, like releasing something on Paramount Presents, and then 8 months later dropping a 4K. Exactly. That's pretty shitty to do to a lot of people. But then one of the main reasons to support this was Paramount had not been doing physical media on catalog titles forever. So this was our chance to show them that they were doing good stuff. But then Imprint started releasing a ton of Paramount stuff, and they're doing it right. obviously they're mostly getting the transfers from Paramount themselves, so they're mostly good and at least serviceable, which was better than the Paramount Presents for some reason. But they were doing better with the features and the packaging and all that. So I completely understand it. Completely. I don't know. A lot of people hate this art too. That's the other thing.
It's not great.
Yeah. And for a steelbook, you would think they would use a little more iconic art. I don't know.
That's true. I'm waiting for, because he's only gonna do 10 movies, right? In theory.
Supposedly.
So I'm just waiting for the mega Tarantino box set to come out, and I'll buy it. I actually like him as a director. I like his movies. I have no hate on Tarantino. I find them easy to watch. So I'm just waiting for the 100 copies or 1,000 copies of some like exclusive set with all of his stuff, and I'll get it.
I've got some spicy takes on Tarantino. I think I literally enjoy most of his movies. I think that they're really good. For the most part, I think a lot of his dialogue is very cringy. I think that he is obviously very full of himself, which to a degree he's earned a lot of it. I'm not going to take that away from him, but he's also ripped off a lot of stuff as well. The only thing that I appreciate is that he usually rips it off and then tells everybody about it. He's completely honest and say, you should go watch, this amazing Japanese film from 1973 or whatever. So I can't really fault him too much for that. He's educated a lot of people on that front, I think.
One of the best cover bands.
Let's get into some Vinegar Syndrome, shall we? All right. Speaking of iconic titles coming from Vinegar Syndrome, we are getting the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 in 4K this month. This got announced on Saturday the 1st. This is coming in a 4K UHD and also a Region A locked Blu-ray set. This is newly rescanned and restored in 4K from the 35mm OCN. This has a new commentary from Patrick Bromley, the old audio commentary with Toby Hooper, audio commentary with Bill Moseley, Carolyn Williams, and Tom Savini. There's another commentary on here with the DP, production designer, script supervisor, and property master. There is new interviews: Tom Savini, Carolyn Williams, Gabe Bartalos, new interview with Kirk Sisko, new interview with Barton Mixon, new interview with Barry Kenyon, new interview with Bill Johnson. I mean, this is pretty dang loaded. Never before seen extended interviews, new featurette with Carolyn Williams, Barry Kenyon, Bill Johnson. I mean, this looks pretty amazing. What are your thoughts on Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2?
Real quick, do you know why? Can you scroll up just a teeny bit, just the top of the? Yeah. So disc 1 is this? I'm just checking. Wait, where does it talk about? Is this 2 disc? It has to be 2 disc, right? One's 4K.
It's a 4K and a Region A Blu-ray. Yes.
So in the 4K disc, is it just the film? Before I say what I'm about to say, I want to see. Do they talk about what's on the 4K disc separately?
I think that it is not separated.
I think there's this interesting. I don't know if you've ever talked about this on any of the interviews. It seems like the 4K discs, it's mostly like movie, maybe movie plus commentary, but then the Blu-ray disc is where all the special features are. Do you have any? Have you ever asked about that, or do you have any idea as to why that happens?
No. It's tough with certain boutiques. So obviously, most of the great boutiques are using 100 gig 4K discs, and they're doing it right. They're putting as much information as they can on there. They are doing what they can to theoretically make sure that it's in the highest quality with the least amount of compression. So I get that to a point. I also imagine that they wouldn't want to make certain things appear as more important by putting it on the 4K disc, perhaps. I'm not sure. There's quite a few reasons that you could argue on that one, but yeah, it's odd. And then not to mention, if you look at the bottom of this, I had to write and more on this one because not only is all this new, there is archival stuff just falling out of this release. There is so much coming in this release.
Yeah, totally. Sorry. So back to your main question. I was just curious about that. Every time I see a 4K. So love Bill Moseley. His Twitter account is really fun to follow, sorry, Instagram. I'm sure Twitter too. I'm not on Twitter, but his Instagram account is super fun to follow. Just funny. I love Bill Moseley. Love Dennis Hopper. Cool film. It's easy watch. I don't know. It's great. I love it. I'm so happy they're doing this. Tobe Hooper came back, right? So, is there a new interview with Tobe Hooper on this?
Yeah, new commentary. Mm-hmm. Oh man, yeah, this looks like a wonderful release. When they oddly soft announced this in an email that they were putting this out way early in this year, I was very happy about it. But this is just all in, and it is exciting to see that they still got it for something like this. Again, they're putting out a lot of MGM stuff this year. They've put out a handful of Universal films. It's just an exciting turn for Vinegar Syndrome, and I know a lot of people are not stoked on that, but for a label of this caliber to have these specific films, show the love that they've always had for these films, and grow from something like the old Psychic Killer now to this, or Madman now to this, or the Taboo films now to this. Like, that is a massive evolution, and it is something that is impressive. It's something that is to be praised. I also just hope that they keep shining light on Underseen Cinema, and I'm sure they will. It's not like every month we're getting 4 Texas Chainsaw Massacre caliber films.
Yeah, and luckily they have the partner labels which are doing that as well. So between, somehow they're doing it. Yeah.
We'll get more into that partner label thing in a moment for sure. Speaking on Tarantino, Toasted Media says he's not my favorite human being, but I love a lot of his work, and I also was being serious. I love a documentary of him going over his influences and even specific scenes he's ripped. I agree. I think that'd be really fun. God, that almost feels like something that would do well on like an AMC for like a 5-episode run or something like that. Stan Geezy once got high with Barry Kenyon. Nice. Quiet Rob says, at least Quentin points out the movies he's making reference to, not like the recent Joker movie and Pretending King of Comedy and Taxi Driver, were not direct inspirations. I don't even know if I'd call those direct inspirations, because they were basically blatantly ripped off in Joker. If it sells to pay more for the obscure stuff, then awesome, 100%. Silent Mandible, Oi lads, somewhat checked out during the stream since I've been running late tonight. I think Burn was mentioned. Who is releasing it? That is Imprint, coming in December. John DeMarsico, got my folks over. We just gathered around for some family disconnected time.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. John is the programming director for the Mets, who are going to the playoffs starting this week. So congrats to John. I wish that your broadcast team was still running it, because you do a hell of a lot better job than ESPN. Hilton wants to remind everybody, if you got the old Arrow TCM2, hold on to that limited edition, because it's got the Hooper short films on it. And this does not, of course.
Unless it's categorized under and more.
Unfortunately, it's not. Gosh, and more on there. We got, let's see, extended interviews with Kit Carson and Lou Perryman, interview with the makeup effects artists, interview with Chris Doritas and Barry Kenyon, interview with editor, interview with stuntman, featurette on locations, interview with the author and film historian Stephen Thrower, 43-minute behind-the-scenes video footage shot during the production, alternate opening, deleted scenes, original theatrical trailers, TV spots. Holy crap. They are releasing so much in this package. Oh, man. And honestly, I was kind of shocked, because this, it's high, believe me, it's still expensive, but it's Vinegar Syndrome, and everybody's been talking about their prices this whole last year. If you're not a subscriber, it's $43, which for a 4K package with all those new extras in a nice hard box and a slip on the inside and everything, that doesn't seem terrible to me for a movie like TCM2. What are your thoughts on that price?
Okay, so honestly, I think it's too high.
It's a little too high, but for a title like this, that's what I'm shocked by.
I think that we are accustomed to paying more for titles like this.
Yeah.
I think that I was just checking the box office. I think we are biased by, so Texas Chainsaw Massacre made $30 million on an $80,000 budget. That's a pretty good return.
Texas had an $80,000 budget. Wow.
Yeah, well, or up to 140, I guess. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 made $8 million on a $4.5 million budget.
Oh, so there we go.
It was not as much. It was a hit, but exactly. Ryan's justifying the money spent. Look, I mean, I do it, right? Like, I pay the price. I get it. I want to get like less known movies out. Like, I want, if you look like the Third Window, that interview we did, the thing that jumped out to me for that is like, if he puts out an Obayashi film, it's gonna sell, and so that highlights or that allows him to pay for like the rest of the stuff that he puts out that sells 120 copies or whatever. But that allows him to do that because he has these ones that make money. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I hope they make a hell of a lot of money, and I hope the studios see it and they're like, man, here's the rest of our, like, take take your pick. Like, what do you want to release?
All I meant by that, like, obviously $43 is a lot for a movie, but all I meant is for a title like TCM2, they could have charged $47.99 and probably sold nearly the exact same amount. And even if they sold 2,000 more copies, that's $10,000 more dollars right there just by flicking your wrist. Like, that's not tiny amounts of money. Stan says, is there an actual release date? Yes, it's the end of October. It's basically as soon as it comes out. It'll be sent from Vinegar Syndrome probably around the 24th to 26th-ish.
Exactly.
And John said, I paid $30 for Hundra from Dark Force, so I'm not concerned about the prices of 4Ks.
I mean, the whole eBay market, kind of messes this whole discussion up, because if you're paying out of print over $100 for stuff, then
yeah, I mean, look, the TCM2 Blu-ray from Screen Factory just 8 months ago, before they announced this was coming, it sold for $100 all day.
Yeah, exactly. So
easily, which is crazy. And then now that Blu-ray is basically completely worthless, and you can get it for like $20 now with the slipcover.
Yeah.
Speaking of 4Ks, we are getting The Werewolf versus Vampire Woman. This is from 1971. And this is kind of a big deal as well. This has, let's go through this. Infamous werewolf Waldemar Daninsky has been brought back from the dead after a mortician carelessly removes a silver bullet from his heart. Of course, that's how it happens. Unable to stop himself from viciously killing anyone in his path, he begins a search for a sacred cross which can finally cure him of his monstrous affliction. Meanwhile, Genevieve and Elvira are scouring the French countryside for the final resting place of Countess Wandessa, who, according to legend, was a vampire who thrived on the blood of young virgins in order to retain her beauty. One night they encounter Waldemar, who offers to aid them in their quest and leads the two women to Wandessa's tomb. However, while in the process of opening it, a drop of blood falls onto her skeletal remains, because of course, thus reanimating and rejuvenating her desire for blood and revenge from beyond the grave. Now faced with an evil capable of even more brutality than his own, Waldemar realizes he is the only hope in defeating Countess Wandessa. And obviously, this being such a big deal because we've got the first 4K Naschy film. What do you think of this title?
I haven't seen... Okay. Great. So, question earlier in the podcast: cinematic blind spots, or earlier in this live stream, cinematic blind spots. I haven't seen anything from Paul Naschy.
Wow.
However, I know the legacy. I get it. So I'm a subscriber, so I guess I got this anyways. But I have the Naschy stuff from. Is it Scream?
Scream did two little mini box sets.
Yeah, I have those, and I want to watch more Naschy. Apparently, the guy is the shit. So, can't wait to watch those. Can't wait to watch this. I don't think he directed this, right? He wrote it.
No, he did, and then he stars in it.
Okay.
Let's see, is newly scanned and restored in 4K from the OCN, which is pretty damn impressive. Presented in its international export nude version on UHD and Blu-ray, with the original Spanish language soundtrack and newly translated English subs, as well as an English dub. It also has the Spanish clothed version on Blu-ray only, with the original Spanish language soundtrack, and the Spanish nude integral version on Blu-ray only, with the original Spanish language soundtrack. Wow. Then we have The Man Who Saw Frankenstein Cry, Paul Naschy, The Life and Legend of a Horror Icon, a feature-length documentary featuring Mick Garris, John Landis, Javier Botet, Joe Dante, Caroline Munro, Paul Naschy, and more. New video interview with Sergio Molina, the son of Paul Naschy, and some alternate titles and stuff like that. This looks pretty damn good for a nice Paul Naschy release. This is the first 4K of any Naschy title. It's fantastic. John says everybody should be getting the Mondo Macabro Naschy films, and completely agree. Let's see. Sardis, no one wants Blood of Old Virgins for some reason.
Blood of Old Virgins. So is that stating that like they're already old and still virgins?
Yes, they are nuns, potentially.
Nuns.
Vinegar Syndrome. Bringing the heat. I don't know if I can show that on YouTube, so let's go to this one. Don't Open Till Christmas. We talked about this earlier. This is a pretty dang big title for them. This is from 1984. One of the bigger holiday horrors that people have wanted on Blu-ray for a long time. There was an old Spanish Blu-ray going around for a long time, but it's bootlegged. I mean, the Spanish laws are not great on a lot of that stuff, unfortunately. This is a region-free Blu-ray, newly scanned in 2K from the Internegative. A new interview with additional scenes with the director and writer Alan Birkinshaw, slashing Miss Monroe. New interview with actress Caroline Munro. New interview with a whole bunch of other people. We got career-spanning archival interview, archival making-of documentary that's 52 minutes long, new featurette revisiting the original shooting locations, and new commentary with film historian and author Amanda Reyes and special features producer Ewan Kant. Deleted and extended scenes. I mean, there's just, again, this looks like a loaded release. I'm so stoked that they're doing this one.
This has a tie into Pieces somehow. I'm trying to figure it out. It's like, it's not the director, but producer. Yeah, it's a producer from Pieces. So yep. Pieces is a favorite. That's a wild film. Yeah, I can't wait to see
Pieces is astonishing, which again, I'm kind of shocked that one hasn't come out on 4K yet. I bet that comes from somebody in the next 18 months.
Isn't it a Blue Underground title? Who's been putting that out?
In the US, it is Grindhouse releasing, I think.
Oh, it's Grindhouse. I'm just looking at it.
Yes, it's Grindhouse releasing, and then in the UK, Arrow did that.
Okay.
They did that old big puzzle release, and they did a vinyl record with it and everything. Toasted Media says, got to get up early for work. Don't we all? Been eagerly devouring all the old shows. Nice. Thanks for hanging out, Toasted. Have a good night. Naschy's a blind spot for Flickering Waves as well. The doc suggests this could be a great starting point. Agreed, fully. Cool. Here is the front art for one quick second again, and looks really good. Here we go. Next up, Blood Delirium from 1988. This, first of all, wild slipcover. I really like the art on this one.
Yeah.
That's such a cool style. This one, Vinegar Syndrome is overjoyed to present the world Blu-ray debut of this twisted and stylish gem, newly restored in 2K from the OCN and presented fully uncut and uncensored. This has John Philip Law, Gordon Mitchell, Brigitte Christensen in this. Region-free Blu-ray, new commentary track from Eugenio Ercolani and Troy Howarth. New interview with the actor, new interview with the actress, a new interview with the assistant director. Again, this is like a really loaded month for Vinegar Syndrome.
Well, so when we were talking earlier about TCM2, like TCM2 allows them to release this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think this is shot on video. I'm just looking it up real quick.
No, it says 35 right there. 35 OCN.
Okay. Anyways, it's a relatively like obscure film, and so
very
like, yeah. Okay. Anyways, I thought never mind. Forget about that makes sense. But yeah, I just like this is the kind of stuff that like I love that they're putting this out. It's such a cool movie. I can't remember where I saw it. I think I saw it on VHS, like in the when I was working in a video store or something. I can't remember. Anyways, I saw it a long time ago, but it's wild. It's really good.
Yeah, it looks fantastic somehow. I've missed this one as well. Really eager to see this one, and decent special features. The whole what is it shot on? I would like to point out Vinegar Syndrome will supposedly never release anything shot on video. That's they say that's the whole point of the Vinegar Syndrome line. They may do that on one of like the VSAs or something else, but so far everything is shot on film.
Oh yeah, that makes sense because that makes sense. They're just trying to do
Vinegar
restorations.
Syndrome.
Yeah.
All right, next up, gosh, how many more Vinegar Syndrome titles are there? Is this the last one? Oh gosh, no, I forgot we got a Peakorama after this too. So this is speaking of, I just said VSA. This is the VSA for the month, and usually around October they do a VSA that's a little horror or horror adjacent. This is Moon of the Wolf from 1972. Here is the back of this one. This says strange events have been going on in the small Louisiana town of Marsh Island. Local residents are shocked when the body of a young woman is discovered mutilated in a nearby swamp. Sheriff Aaron Whitaker is convinced he's dealing with a murderer like any other. However, some of the more superstitious locals think there may be a supernatural explanation. As more bodies begin turning up, it becomes evident that the sheriff may in fact be hunting a mythological creature known as a lycanthrope, or in other words, a werewolf. Of course, with the help of a prominent socialite named Lucy, Sheriff Whitaker must uncover the identity of whomever or whatever is responsible for the killings before the next full moon claims another victim. This is starring David Jansen, Barbara Rush, Bradford Dillman, John Berardino, and Jeffrey Lewis. And what is kind of surprising, usually there's a little more extras on VSAs. This one's pretty light. We got an interview with the editor and then a historical commentary with Amanda Reyes and Daniel Budnick. VSAs. How are you feeling about VSAs lately?
Okay, so Sardis has an interesting point. Just can't buy a film. Yeah. I actually am exactly the same way. Like if it's a genre I'm not interested in and it's like never been seen on Blu-ray, like I don't buy it just because.
Right.
So I'm totally in. And then Video Man puts the first VS release. So if there's a kink in the armor of Vinegar Syndrome, basically being like making the right choice at like every step of their growth, I think that kink is VSA, because like I am complete on them, and I've seen all of them through 21, and this would be 28, I believe. And so I was super excited when they came out because they put Action USA out, which is one of my favorite movies. And so I was like, okay, anything they put out, I'm buying. Like just to support Action USA.
Right.
Then they put out like 10, or I don't know the exact number, but they put out a ton of movies with Cynthia Rothrock and Jalal Mary that were fine, and like Billy Banks and all that. They're fun enough, but like I don't think the VSA line has an identity.
It does not at all.
Yeah. And they talk about they're an action line. Like they've even stated like it's where we put out our action films. But that's not really true. Yeah, no, like Red Sun Rising, I can't wait to get to that. Like some of the stuff in their catalog is awesome. Like I've loved half of what's in there. Dr. Jekyll's Dungeon of Death is the worst movie I've ever seen. But right before that, Hell Riders was great. Savage Dawn was great. Evil Town was awesome. Just looking through their line. Savage Harbor I thought was fun. Seeing Sylvester Stallone's brother that nobody talks about. And then the other guy, Robert Mitchum's brother, I think is what it was. Act in a film together was fun. Yeah, Action USA, I'll fight anybody that doesn't like that. That's ridiculous. That movie's amazing. Champagne and Bullets is amazing. But then, yeah, they're like all over the place. Yeah, you're calling out Fortress of America. That movie's batshit. I love Trauma, so I was happy they put out a Trauma movie.
I like that one, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. They're just, I don't know. Like, I don't know exactly what they're doing with it. And in addition to being like having like a bad compass, I feel like, or like a weak compass, they're also just putting out a lot. So it's like this weird kind of awkward thing where it's like every month there's 1 or 2 VSAs, it feels like, and they're kind of all over the place. So I don't know. I'm debating slowing down on them a little bit. I want to see where it goes.
Yeah, I completely get and understand most of that. The fact that we got like Vice Academy 1 through 3 in
Yeah,
one VSA release, and then Jalal Mary gets 4 different releases instead
yeah,
of putting them in one
no,
box. Like,
totally, totally.
why are we paying $30 each for these instead of 42 for all of them together? First off, I wanted to share the original announcement for VSA. So this is what it originally said in their actual press release and what they sent out through emails on their newsletter and stuff. They said it stands for Vinegar Syndrome Archive, and it's a new subline of random titles specifically intended to be sold to brick and mortar retailers and focus on films made during the golden age of direct-to-video sleaze, roughly early 80s through the mid 90s. So first off, this title that we're looking at right here, not very sleazy from what I've read, comes from 1972, doesn't really shout something that is the direct to video era where we're seeing posters for this in mom and pop movie shops. Like this seems very odd. I don't know.
Yeah, I bought it. I'll give it a shot. But I agree. I'm not. I don't know. I was very high on VSA when it first came out. I've become lukewarm. And Quiet Rob, just want to say thank you. I agree. So good. I like the Fury Road comparison.
Let's see. Video Man says was a TV movie. So does John. So does Rob. Everybody's all like this doesn't scream VSA to me. This seems like it should have been a double feature on a Vinegar Syndrome release, maybe.
Or bonus feature or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the last Vinegar Syndrome title for the month. This is a Peakorama title. This is Come With Me, My Love. And then on the other side, we got Satan Was a Lady. I will say, this actually looks like one of the more compelling releases for the month for me. I don't know if you're into any of their adult titles. The stills that they posted from these make this look wild, like super interesting. I think it was the second film. Are both synopses on here? I think. Well, first off, everybody needs to know, in case you don't, these are both Doris Wishman films, and this is the way to complement all of the AGFA releases of the Doris Wishman films. So this is important because now we will literally have all of her films, I believe, coming out through OCN just this year, which is remarkable. It is basically akin to a Severin Films full-on box set, like full auteur, front to back, everything. The AGFA releases of Doris Wishman's regular stuff, they are impeccably curated. They look fantastic. For anybody that hasn't given a nice dive into Doris Wishman, these are the best way you ever could. But the cool thing, so I believe it's right here. Let me see. In 1926, a man caught his wife in the arms of her lover, only to shoot them both. This is so weird. Then himself, forcing his spirit to remain a ghostly prisoner in their apartment. 50 years later, a young woman who bears a striking resemblance to his deceased wife moves into the same flat, only to be terrorized by the ghost who also sees fit to murder anyone he believes is competition for his new love. An old-fashioned haunted house film updated to 70s hardcore sleaze. Come With Me, My Love stars Ursula Austin, Vanessa Del Rio, few others, whatever. Wishman's directorial trademarks render this a B-movie treat from beginning to end. Now, there are no special features on this double feature, but the stills from this movie, it looks so interesting, and I cannot wait to see this one.
Yeah. I think Doris Wishman for me falls under a category of people that like, I bought the AGFA stuff. I'll support it. I love the fact that it's getting respect. I'll eventually probably get around to it. I'm not big on watching the Peakorama stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't mind owning it, and I'm happy to preservation and all. So yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I agree. I usually don't make them a priority or anything. The big thing for me is stuff like Corruption, which technically is listed as an adult hardcore title, but that movie, it's a hardcore film, but barely. Like it's in there as a part of the story, and the story is this really incredible, dark, weird, surreal, almost Lynchian tale, and it's great to see that presented alongside stuff like this, and just dive into. People see this and think, oh, it's just porn. People are not really getting "Come With Me in My Love" to get off or anything. I'm assuming this is an actual dive into adult film with real stories and with a real reason to go out there.
I mean, if you were a filmmaker in the 70s, is it 70s or 60s?
It's 70s, I believe.
Yeah, especially 70s, maybe 60s too. Yep. You could make a whole career as a filmmaker making adult films, and there are some great stories in there. So, like, I love it. Doris Wishman is probably one of the best examples of that. She was amazing, and her story is incredible. So, yeah.
And so many people that made movies back then, they did this. They did adult titles most of the time under a pseudonym, and you'll never find out who they were unless they were out and loud about it. But pretty damn cool that they were able to do it.
I know you're probably tired of me talking about this. The one exception to this, I will say, if anybody listening hasn't seen Bat Pussy, AGFA's announced that they're going to re-release it with like 10 minutes of extra footage or something. That movie is amazing.
I didn't hear about the extra footage part.
Yeah, they're gonna re-release it. They found like another reel somewhere that has a better ending, because the movie just ends like awkwardly. She's trying to stop sex in the city, so that's a movie. She's trying to stop sex in her city, so she like goes into this couple, and then instead of stopping them, they get into like the worst orgy ever. And then she just like gets up and leaves. And I've never laughed so hard. Like I was laughing, like I was just I don't know. I was laughing the whole time. And apparently there's 5-10 more minutes that they found. So they're gonna re-release it under OCN.
Yeah, so all of the AGFA titles that they released before becoming a partner label are supposedly still coming out through OCN, and they're gonna have a slipcover and all that fancy stuff now. But the big thing, God, you guys interviewed AGFA long time ago this year. I interviewed them as well, but they're saying 2023 they're planning, do you remember the number, like 21 releases or something?
I don't know, the number 17 is sticking in my head somewhere. Okay. It's a lot though. Like they're going hard next year. Yeah,
it's certainly more than one per month, which I'm curious how they're going to do that, because OCN hasn't done that as far as I remember for anybody yet.
No, that's a good point. I thought that I got a little confused this month between Deaf Crocodile and Decanologue, and I thought they did, but it turns out they didn't. So, yeah, I don't think so either.
All right. So, okay. Let's go over merch real quick, I guess. One of the cool things, every year in October, they release a new Halloween shirt. I love their Halloween shirts. They're always really cool. I think this is a really nice touch. And then people have been asking for a hoodie for a long time, and they finally obliged. This is the first time they've stocked a hoodie, I think, in a couple of years. And Chris is gone. All right. Chris will be back, I'm sure, in just a minute. But before I go to partner labels, so there he is. Push the wrong button, I'm sure. Glad you're back.
We start talking about merch and I'm out.
Yeah, peace out. So that's next up is partner labels, but I just wanted to highlight the cool thing. They sold out of these really fast this year, and they said, you know what, that's not cool. So they released like 150 more of them, which honestly, they're printing them themselves or whatever. Why not just, sell it for a month until it's done? I don't know. I don't understand. It's not like it's keeping space in their warehouse. So I don't know. I'm touch and go on that one. Before we go on, partner labels. So Chris and I have talked about partner labels before, and I would like to catch back up on that. So first off, we have 22 partner labels of OCN right now. You have given a deep dive to Utopia. You are 9 in? I think you just posted the 9th one today.
Yeah.
I love reading that every time you post it, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
What was the last one you did? You did somebody that only had like 6 releases or something, right?
Well, I mean, they keep releasing stuff, so I'm always behind. I've done, let me see if I can find it quickly. It's like, so let's see. Oh yeah, they did that weird thing where they took away their menu of labels. Hold on. So I've done Fun City.
That's the one, yeah.
And then I did. Oh, never mind. Massacre was one that I did before that. But then, yeah, Utopia. Maybe that's it. I'm ramping up to do Culture Shock next. I'm working through those now,
Nice.
so I can do that.
All right, so 22 partner labels. You have watched many of their releases. You and I seem to be along the same path of trying, not like just to collect all of them necessarily, but intrigued by a lot of the partner label releases. I mean, I literally, even without thinking, I can grab 4 just sitting by me just because I'm ready for it. First off, like State of the Union, how do you feel about partner labels after this year? Because we've seen 10 months of releases from partner labels,
Mhm.
and it's been a wild year for them. First of all,
I the original reason that I got into them is still true. Like, I don't, with a young kid, and then during pandemic, I don't really go to the theater that much.
Yeah.
With a job that's like very stressful, I don't get to go to festivals like I want to. So, like, I relied on Netflix for years, and maybe Hulu to a certain extent, maybe Shudder to a certain extent, to give me like new stuff. But I don't know the new films that are coming out from Iran. Like, if Deaf Crocodile hadn't released that set, I would have never heard of that guy.
right?
And like, those films are, I'm sorry, fucking amazing. Like,
Yeah.
like that guy needs to be seen. Like, um, I don't know. Like, I've reached my max. So if they add more labels, I will. No, that's not true. I'm not buying Gunpowder and Sky anymore. That's
Oh,
the one
wow.
I'm not buying. I mean, they're fine. The movies are fine. But like, I had to make a cut somewhere. They're the first ones that got cut. I don't know what's gonna be next because I love everything. It's probably gonna be someone like ETR. As much as I love ETR, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I have to have all the music docs and stuff. So we'll see. I mean, I like what they're doing, but that'll probably be the next to go as far as being cut. But
Right.
10, 12 a month is probably the max I can do from a budget perspective. And I
Yeah.
mean, forget about from a watching perspective because there's other stuff going on. I just love it. And Radiance, I mean, I guess, I don't know, we'll talk about them. Are we talking about them tonight?
Of course.
So they're introducing a partner label system as well. So there seems to be good money in it for the companies that are doing it. And yeah, I'll keep supporting it for now. I love it. What about you?
I am this is where it gets tough because I'm starting to formulate plans for the rest of the year, things I'm going to do for the channel, things that we're going to do for Reconnected. And one of the things that it's important usually to do some sort of check-in. And at the end of the year, it's an obvious time to just reflect on how a label has done for the year. And Vinegar Syndrome is a label, and these other 22 labels are themselves their own labels. So they have to have their own identity, even though they're all attached to OCN. And the crazy thing is, I think, first of all, I think a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but I think 2022 has kind of secretly been one of the better Vinegar Syndrome years for titles in like 4 years for me. I was a real big fan of their first like 6-ish years. And not that the last few years have been bad. I feel like they took a little bit of a dip. The titles themselves, I think, have been very stellar this year. And the hard part, Vinegar Syndrome has been very good, very, very exciting for a lot of their stuff. Most of the partner labels somehow are even more exciting than that. And I am shocked at the amount every single month where I'm like, damn it, I kind of like, I would love to just watch all of these partner label titles because they seem so freaking incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand how we're getting 22 partner labels that are putting out mostly compelling releases for somebody like me who has such varied taste, and somebody like you.
Well, I'm sure this has come up, and I'm sorry if it's come up and I haven't heard it on your channel.
No, you're good.
Do you know, like, I mean, how much they actually do for these releases? Has that come up on the show?
How many they sell, or
no, like from a production perspective, like what OCN actually does?
Not entirely, not yet. No.
because it's not really 22 separate labels.
Right.
Like basically, it's crazy because they handle the manufacturing and the production, and like if the owner of the label like needs them to, they'll handle the artwork, and like
Yep.
they publish the disc.
Yep.
And so, the like VHS Hitfest is, well, that's maybe not a bad. Yeah, Sardis, I'm right there with you. Exactly. That's why, like, my cap. So, they'll get the rights, and then they'll kind of turn it over to Justin and be like, "Can you put out the disc?" And he says, "Sure," and he'll take whatever their cut is, and then they just split it. But like, it's like this weird. It's a very symbiotic relationship. Like, it's not like Def Crocodile is like publishing these discs and then distributing it through OCN. It's like if you sign up with OCN, you're like, you're like signing
Yeah.
up with them. So that makes me a little bit nervous. I trust the guys from Vinegar Syndrome to not become assholes, but like it's the kind of setup where if you're inclined to be an asshole, you could really take advantage of people down the
Oh, yeah.
line. So it always makes me a little nervous. And also, if you look at like the stuff coming out from Crescendo House, which is still my favorite release in the last 2 years, like that guy, I hope he finds some more money and does another bunch of releases because he
Yep.
put so much care into that. Or like if you look at what some of these different labels are doing, Fractured Visions, they're a little bit more sort of creative in their releases. Error 44, 44. So Vinegar Syndrome is like that factory of like badass artwork, amazing special features. So it's like nothing to complain about. It's great. It's just there's a they're consolidating, and so that makes me slightly nervous. Sorry to go on a bit of a tangent there, but
No,
I'm still enjoying it. So
yeah, completely agree there. Not to mention, if they ever did away with the discount for subscribers for these partner labels, I would be probably priced out damn immediately.
Yeah.
On most of them, there's no way that I could get most of them that I
Okay.
do.
Hot seat question. 3 partner labels, and that's all you can buy. Who are your 3?
Oh, frick. Oh, why do you do this to me? Oh gosh. I just got sweaty. I'm just kidding. So far, quality wise of both films and special features, I'm probably gonna go Fun City, Def Crocodile, and primarily for like a film school standing point, like the history behind so much of the AGFA, I feel like it would be difficult to give those up.
Yeah, AGFA, Def Crocodile, right there for me. And then it gets a little bit tough because I think I love the fact that you can buy Asian releases of like Asian art house releases through Kani. So it's probably Kani for me. Or Big World put out Rebels of a Neon God, which like that movie is amazing if you haven't seen it. So Altered Innocence is a good one too.
Yeah,
that's a good call. Stuff. Saturn's Core, yeah, everyone's. I like that y'all are all doing that. Saturn's Core. If y'all haven't heard, Ross joined you as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Just listen to Ross talk. He's so awesome.
He is super knowledgeable for sure. But the crazy thing is, you could ask me next week, and I might give you 3 different labels. It is so weird. Like Yellow Veil Pictures have put out banger after banger titles for me. I don't know what it is, but their films themselves have blown me away for the most part, but then their special features are just kind of sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
Decanalog put out some great releases this year, some Asian as well, so that's another good one. I honestly still really high on Gunpowder and Sky. I feel like they've put a lot of care into modern films, and it shows that even stuff being made today can deserve and do well with releases like this. So it's nice to see that somebody else is getting that. I don't know, there's so much.
Yeah,
loving it. Bruiser says they live by film, and Ryan sit down with Ross got me to dip my toe into SOV, and I'm not looking back.
It's great. Yeah, I love Ross. Is awesome. He's a great what's the word? He's a great like spokesperson for that world.
He really is, and because again, they're all connected. He just knows everybody, so it's nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into why these are so freaking amazing. I mean, again, every month it's like, here's 14 titles from partner labels plus Vinegar Syndrome. It's just, god dang. Let's see. Has Vinegar Syndrome dropped the add to existing order shipping option?
Yeah. It's all automatic now. If you log in and you're a subscriber.
Oh, for the subscriber, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can still do it during sales for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Canadian International is definitely underrated. They've done literally almost all of their stuff is prestige titles. They're incredible. And again, special features on them. One of their releases has like 7 short films as a special feature. Well, totally. Like what? Speaking of Canadian, go ahead.
No. I'm sorry. They did somebody. Was it Buster Keaton's last film?
Yep.
It was, right? Yeah.
I don't know if it was his last film, but it was something he was in for sure.
Yeah, Buster Keaton. That's right. Buster Keaton Rides Again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was his last film. Anyways.
Yeah, they've done a lot of stuff. This one is from them. This is the Amityville Curse from 1990. This is the perfect way to complement your Amityville horror that you just got from Vinegar Syndrome. This is continuing in the franchise, scanned into 2K from the OCN. Audio commentary featuring Paul Karup of Canucksploitation.com, film historian Jason Pachonsky. We got an interview with the director, interview with an actress, interview with the cinematographer, and then Gibbons reflects on his body of work. Booklet featuring new motion picture Purgatory comic strip. I mean, again, these are just great. And then the artwork on this is a really nice slip.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. Curse is not good.
Yeah, it's not a good movie.
The box set that Vinegar Syndrome did around like the last 3 Amityville movies. That box, or 4 maybe?
Yeah, it's 3 films. It's number 4, 5, and 6, I think.
The box set is awesome. Yeah. I love those. The Amityville Curse, I haven't seen. The Amityville Dildo is awesome. If you haven't seen that.
Is it dildo or the vibrator?
Vibrator. Shit, it's vibrator.
Yeah, the guy that directed that, he seems to be everywhere singing the praises of that film.
It's a really goofy film.
Next up, VHS Hit Fest. We were both just talking about this one. Blood Hunter from 1996. So little information on this film in here. If you want to hear more on this, listen to my interview with Dan. He goes into quite a lot of detail on this film, but also teases a lot of upcoming stuff, including their 5th release is going to be a Kung Fu film, which just hilarious. This says a vampire living in rural Kentucky takes a bite at a crime. 90 minutes long. It's a region-free Blu-ray. It's got an audio commentary and a making-of featurette. Here is the back of the slip. And, man, this face made me laugh so hard when I first saw it.
The Corn Shucker put VHS Hit Fest on my watch list. Like, I loved the Corn Shucker. And so when he said that this is going to be one that, like, he can't wait to hear people's opinion on.
Yep.
I trust him now. I trust Dan's opinion now.
The Corn Shucker... It is such a weird movie, and it's not bad, but it does not scream high quality or anything. It is just, it is so hard to describe.
I know. That haunts my dreams now.
There is so many scenes in that movie. Oh, and first of all, I was really tired when I watched it, and somehow it woke me up, and I was just like, what is this? It was such
awesome.
A weird movie. Next one. Oh, this is a big one. Cutter's Way, coming from Fun City Editions, another Jeff Bridges film from them. Also has John Hurd in it, which is really cool. And Lisa Eichhorn, Deliver Exemplary. Okay. Unambitious yacht salesman and gigolo Richard Bone skates on his good looks and avoids all responsibility. His best friend, Alex Cutter, returned from Vietnam with his body ruined, but his mind sharpened and attuned to the injustices and politics that led to his predicament. After Bone witnesses a shadowy figure dump a young woman's body in the trash, he fingers local oil magnate J.J. Cord as the killer. As Bone backs away from his accusation, Cutter charges forward on a crusade to make Cord pay not only for this murder, but for all the other crimes fat cats like him have routinely gotten away with. Cutter's long-suffering wife, Mo, struggles to keep her own head above the surface while steering the two men towards saner waters. First off, this got a Twilight Time Blu-ray, and that went out of print quickly, just like all Twilight Time releases went. This is one that they've been teasing all year. We didn't know when it was going to be coming, but it is nice to be getting this, and I can't wait to see this again. I saw it ages ago. I remember really enjoying it, but just being the age I am now, I feel like this will hit very different. And this just looks like a really great release from Fun City.
Yeah. They must have some ins with Ivan Passer. Because he did Born to Win as well.
Yep.
Which that movie's awesome. So I'm excited to see. I haven't seen Cutter's Way actually.
Yeah. It's one that's gotten not a ton of releases, but it's kind of been seen. It's gotten like 4 good releases out there.
Is Cornshucker as weird as Trash Humpers? No, it's totally different. Trust me. Like if somebody was to say Cornshucker was directed by David Lynch in his like student film or something, I think people.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like somehow it's a very well made movie, but it's bananas. Like there's a scene where people are peeing corn. I don't know. It's all over the place.
Dan in the interview with mine, he said, I believe he said they hired a real a professional cinematographer, and that's the only thing that they use money for, basically. So the fact that it looks so good is what you can do when you hire the right talent, and it's nice to see. And you know, the Lynchian aspect, it is genuinely like it screams of Eraserhead in a few scenes. It is quite similar, not in content necessarily, not in tone necessarily, but there's just something about it that certainly screams young Lynch.
Sorry, can I really quick? So Video Mannen, you called out Video Talk. Is that the dude with the ponytail that's like in this like amazing video store and is super excited about every release he talks about? Because that channel is awesome. I haven't seen that in a while, but I love that guy. If that's the guy you're talking about, I think he's Finnish. He'll get like 100 movies from Vinegar Syndrome, and he'll just be like, "Oh my gosh, this one! Look at this!" Like,
yep, that's him.
Okay, that's a great. Yes, it's his name. Okay, yeah.
No, he says it's his home.
Wow. That's I guess hashtag life goals, but that guy's awesome. Good. I hope you don't mind talking about other channels on here.
Of course not.
That guy's awesome.
Bruiser says, wasn't the budget like $6,000 all for the DP and those weird shoes and shocking makeup? Yeah, and I think he said the director's brother played the Cornshucker or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
God, such a weird movie. I'm so glad you brought up the peeing corn scene. That movie is crazy.
Kind of like Cutter's Way.
I love it. Yeah, we're talking all about that while Cutter's Way is on the screen. Man, this one, Decanalog is putting out Dakra. I believe that's how you say it, from 2018. This, first of all, really interesting and compelling slip for me. This is really long. I don't know if I'm going to read this entire thing, but the synopsis on this sounded really good. Out of North Africa, an introduction to Tunisian folk horror is something that immediately jumped out to me that it's going to be on this disc. Did you take a look at this one?
So, no, I've heard about this movie, though. Like, I can't name another movie from Tunisia, first of all. So awesome. And Tunisian folk horror, like, I'm in. And also, apparently, this movie, like, started some shit. So, apparently, it was kind of controversial when it came out. So, like that's all the buzzwords I need. Like, I can't wait to get this in.
Yeah. And most of the stuff from Decanalog so far has been really, like, thought-provoking titles. Mm-hmm. And this looks to be continuing that. And for me, in fact, I think I mentioned something sort of like this in my interview with Fran, but for something that I watch and not just like digest and move on with my day, but something that I watch and it just weighs on me, that is like the exact type of movie I love. And most of the Decanalog titles so far have done that to me. It's just been something that it's not necessarily scary like that, but it's just something that's hard to shake. And I don't know, there's something special about that.
Yeah, totally agree.
This next one does not appear to have that same tone. Culture Shock Releasing, putting out Deathcember from 2018. These are like super short anthology type stories, supposedly. And from what I hear, this is really bad, actually. But I am a sucker for holiday horror films and can't wait to see this somehow. I think this confused a lot of people because this was streaming on Shout Factory TV for the longest time. So they expected to get a Scream Factory release, but different rights. So Culture Shock got the disc rights, Scream Factory got the streaming rights. Let's see. This has all kinds of special features. Again, this is like not even close to all of them. They each have
Sorry.
they have introductions to the film. They've got interviews with the directors. A couple of these, from what I hear, the interview is longer than the short, but it even has stuff like Ruggero Deodato did one of the portions of this. We got Pollyanna McIntosh. That's another name people know. Yeah, there's a lot of names associated with this. We got Michael Verratti. I'm curious to see how good this is. Supposedly, it is. The answer is none. None good.
Whatever. I mean, like you said, a holiday anthology film. Like, come on.
It'll be fun for at least a one-time viewing.
Yeah.
And that is a great title, Deathcember. Come on.
Yeah.
Next up, this is one that I had a lot of people talking about. This is the next Altered Innocence title, and I'm probably saying this wrong. Grand Jeet or Grand Jeté from 2022, brand new film. Nadia is an aspiring ballerina with the scars to prove it. A masochistic pursuit at her dream career has left her body battered. A map of the tumultuous torture dancers withstand on a daily basis. Working now as a dancing instructor for children rather than as the dancer she always wanted to be, she decides to visit the adult son she has been estranged from since he was a child. And this is where the synopsis takes a very weird turn. Mario, raised by his grandmother, is similarly focused on his physical form and the abuse it takes to earn the physique he craves. When Nadia shows up at Mario's doorstep, it starts a relationship that is as sensitive as it is taboo-shattering. Placing Grand Jeté alongside other provocative European films like Christophe Honoré's Ma Mère and Bertrand Blier's, I can't say any of these foreign words, Isabelle Stever's film, a selection of the Berlin International Film Festival, is a powerful character drama about familial boundaries and the lack thereof, with sensational and daring performances from Grether and Schoenfels and striking intimate cinematography by Constantine Campion. First off, this slip. This tells you a lot about this film. I mean, it sounds interesting.
Yeah. Yep. There's a this is like an art house version. Did you ever see that movie? I think it was from the 90s called Spanking the Monkey.
No.
This is about a mom, right? A ballet teacher.
Yes.
Yeah. A mom and her son. So there's a poorly made dark comedy version of this called Spanking the Monkey. That has a scene. I just remember like there's a scene with like the mom and her son in a bathtub, and I was like, this feels uncomfortable. So we'll see how this goes. There is that. Speaking of, you mentioned taboo earlier. Was taboo only between brother and sister? Have you seen those, or was there parent kid?
I believe there is at least one parent kid. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That's never really been a fantasy of mine. I don't quite get it, but I mean, I guess it happens. So why not document it in a film? I don't know. Whatever.
All right. Moving to the next one fairly quickly. This is seemingly the hot title of the month, one that I have been dying to see for a long time. In the Soup is coming from Factory 20. We didn't even mention Factory 25. God, how did I forget them? They are incredible.
Yeah, they're doing good stuff.
Most of their stuff has been anyways. In the Soup, this is from 1992. First off, the cast in this. Steve Buscemi, Seymour Cassell, Jennifer Beals, Sam Rockwell, Stanley Tucci, Jim Jarmusch, Carol Kane, Debbie Mazar, Elizabeth Bracco, Will Patton, Pat Moya, Rockets Red Glare. This is like a lot of people that grew up in the 80s and 90s, one of their favorite films, and somehow I never got to see it. I don't know how. This is, I believe, the slipcover sold out already, and it hasn't even been a full week since the announcements. Yeah. So this has been the hot seller. Another interesting thing, since Vinegar Syndrome sort of changed some things with their website, there are certain things that don't necessarily show up right, and this was one of them. Not the movie, the fact that they were selling the vinyl soundtrack for this. And when you clicked on merch, it didn't show up there. When you clicked on partner label releases, it didn't show up there. You specifically had to click on music to be able to find this. So a lot of people maybe would have bought that as well. But yeah, this one looks great. Absolutely stoked for this. We get a 32-page booklet, post-screening Q&A with Alex Rockwell, the award-winning 2014 feature by Alexander Rockwell called Little Feat. This is a brand new 4K restoration of the film. I mean, yeah, this is how you do good releases of films that mean a lot to a lot of people.
Alexander Rockwell is a tricky one for me. I did not like Pete Smalls is Dead at all. But I thought Four Rooms was kind of fun. His segment in Four Rooms was fun.
Yeah.
And I've heard like amazing things about this, so I want to give it a shot. Have you ever seen Pete Smalls is Dead? It was like fairly recent.
I don't think so. I keep getting it confused with something else that has a similar name.
And yeah, it was all right, but like I think like it came off as like he was very impressed with himself and his ability to write dialogue, and like dialogue was okay. But I'm curious to see. I've heard the beginning of his career is basically like phenomenal. So this, and then there's one called Hero. I get it mixed up with that Jet Li film all the time. I think that I really want to see as well.
Yeah. Video Man says, I worked on one title released by Music Box Films, Heavy Trip, just 3 days of work, but rented out a lot of my weapons to them.
No, dude, Heavy Trip is awesome. What did you do for them? That movie is amazing.
Video Man does a lot of stuff. He's directed music videos. He lives over there in Europe. Yeah, he's done all kinds of stuff. Sent me his work. He's done a couple films. Yeah, he's good cool stuff. And Heavy Trip was one of my favorites for sure.
Oh, it's great. What is it like? Reindeer gut splicing, like Satan worshipping metal. I don't know. Like the genre they played was like, I don't know. That movie is great. I love it.
The special features they did where they came to screen the film at the South by Southwest Festival, and they're just walking around Austin. So funny. So funny. Heavy Trip. If you've never seen it, people need to get on Heavy Trip and watch that for sure.
It's good.
The Pact from 1995 is the next release coming from Saturn's Core. First off, I love what is even a good word? Like the jankiness of this slipcover.
Yeah.
I'm super intrigued by it. Good stuff on this. We got a new commentary from the writer and director Brad Sykes, a short film from him from 1997. There is reversible cover art, of course, and then that's about it. Yeah, that's kind of what Saturn's Core has been doing, just knocking out solid little films like this.
I think this is what, with these guys and with Visual Vengeance, even though they're not a partner label, and then VHS Hitfest, it's just a curation game. Like, I just, the fact these movies are getting a release is awesome. Just check them out.
Well, and the crazy thing with VHS Hitfest, so far, none of their stuff has even been shot on video, and only some of their stuff is going to be shot on video, supposedly. So it's odd that, I mean, obviously you get certain filming styles, it's going to get lumped in with some of those others, but we are getting so many of those just no budget films from around that time. It's a lot right now.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a little kind of a light disc for them, but it does look decent. Video Man says, I worked props on Heavy Trip. In that film, I did weapons.
That's cool. There's some great weapon scenes in that too, especially near the end. That's fun.
Yeah. The climax of that movie is great.
Yeah.
This one sounds
Dark Star. Dark Star's great too. Amazing. Sorry, go ahead.
Dark Star, stupendous.
Yeah.
I mean, what have you liked from them so far?
I'm just pulling them up right now. Give me 10 seconds because I don't want to get it wrong. So, they did. Wait, what's coming up? Factory 25 is coming up. Hold on, because Factory 25 did Inspector Ike. I was like, that's not.
That movie is so good.
So I think the first thing I saw from it's awesome. The first thing I saw from Dark Star was a movie that apparently has already had an Arrow release. I didn't know that. The Last Matinee, which that movie's great. Like it best
really is.
Slasher I've ever seen with zero plot. Like I don't know how they got away with it. Literally nothing happens. It's just like a guy walks in and like everything goes to hell, and like it's
We
great.
we streamed that in my Discord with all the patrons. It went over really well. It's a very fun movie.
So good. Yeah, it's very fun. That's a good word for it. Coco Da is batshit. I love it. It's wild. And then I can't wait. I have queued up for today or tomorrow, depending on how it goes. Is Fair Game from them.
Nice.
So,
Got it right here.
nice.
And then they did Mother Schmuckers was them, I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
Potato Dreams of America.
Mm.
What they did another one recently.
King Car is what.
King Car, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one sounds wild. It's from 2020. Jack is an internet gambler living in New York City who becomes fixated on Scarlett, a cam girl from San Francisco. His obsession reaches a boiling point when fantasy materializes in reality and Jack sees Scarlett on a rainy Chinatown street. Supposedly, like, I think this is streaming on Tubi or something like that if you want to see it before you buy it. But lots of extras on this disc. We got a commentary. We got a full bonus film, Annunciation, the director's first feature film from 2014, deleted scenes plus commentary, a public chat between the producer and the director, and then a short film from 2016 called Little Labyrinth, plus a booklet with an essay by Alexandra Heller Nicholas. I mean, that's a big release. I'm stoked on this.
Definitely. Yeah.
Video Man says, I just finished my work on Mission Impossible 7 and will begin now in a smaller movie with some legends every horror geek love.
That's awesome.
Let's see. Your comment that you tried to post, it only went to me. You can type it.
Okay.
In
I
there.
don't know. I can't type comments for some reason. I tried to hit login earlier so I could comment, and that's when I broke. So it's fine.
Oh, that stinks. If you had I think if you have it on another tab, it works. You just may have to pause it.
That's fine. It's not.
Anyways, still going with partner labels, still a few more. Agfa's Shakorama Video Party. This is the type of release from them that just makes me want to continue supporting them. So first of all, love this old style slipcover. They've done a few like this, and they just look great in the hand. Love it. We are getting The Naked Witch from 1961, which is about an hour long. Violated from 1953, which is just over an hour. Ghost of Hanley House from 1968, which is almost an hour and a half. And then Passion in the Sun, which is almost 70 minutes. These are the perfect length. I mean, 4 different feature-length films that I can sit down and dive into something and find, hopefully, some little gem or just something to discover there. I love stuff like this.
Yeah, the first 3 titles make a sentence. If you scroll back up real quick, the ghosts, the Naked Witch violated the Ghost of Hanley House with some passion in the sun. So it's clever. I don't know if they did that intentionally, but
that's funny.
No, I fully agree with what you're saying. Like I never, shame on me, I guess. I never watched their mixtapes during the pandemic, but I've heard like so many people just like goo gaga over what they did with their mixtapes. So
yeah, and they're was it just called the Horror Trailer Show? I think they're
oh yeah, they've had 1 or 2 of those.
Yeah, so they did that, and when I interviewed them, they said they have another one like that coming. And what's cool when you watch that, I mean, in the interview, basically, he shared how they literally built that themselves. They went all in just to get this all together, and it takes a lot of work to do something like that, restoring things. And I can't wait to get another one of those. They are so great. I love trailer comps. I don't know why.
Well, so I don't want to go. Sorry, I know we're already like so late, but just.
Oh no, this is nothing. I've had a 4.5 hour one of these. Come on.
Okay, just like a 10-second tangent. So Alamo, all these guys from AGFA and gals, all these folks from AGFA got their start in Austin, or most of them anyways, right, in the Alamo Drafthouse. And Alamo does this thing, I hope they still do it, but they did this thing where in front of like every movie, they would edit an entire like show, like pre-show. Yeah. It was bananas. And so like, I don't know how they kept up with it, but you know, at any given time, even when Alamo was small, they were probably still playing 15 movies at any given time. And every one of them had a custom trailer show that was like edited together and clips. And like the guy, Tim League, basically just collects like a bunch of stuff. And that was kind of the first impetus for starting AGFA. So they're good at just quickly finding like all these old clips and trailers and stuff. So they were kind of trained that way.
Yeah, yeah, they certainly do not shy away from that work, and supposedly this next one that they're doing is going to be great. Can't wait. Villains from 2019 is coming from Gunpowder and Sky. This is a title that a lot of people have seen because it stars Bill Skarsgård and Kira Sedgwick primarily. I've not seen this one yet. This is one that I've had the Blu-ray, the old Blu-ray that was put out in my Amazon wish list for a long time, and I'm really glad I didn't get it because this looks like a much better release.
Yeah.
We got interviews with a bunch of people. We got two different commentaries. Video essay by Sam Deegan on here about killer couples throughout cinema, that's a really cool idea for a video essay. We got 3 deleted scenes with commentary, makeup application, time lapse. Supposedly, this is a really good movie too. Have you seen this one yet?
No, I didn't.
I'm very behind on modern films like this.
Same. But it's Gunpowder and Spy, so I'll never see it. Or Gunpowder and Sky, so I'll never see it.
From what I hear, this is a genuinely really good film, though. And I love Bill Skarsgård. He is fantastic.
Sure, dude can act.
Little known name of Gaspar Noé, and this movie stars another little known name of Dario Argento. This is coming from Utopia. We get Vortex from 2021.
Amazing. I haven't seen the movie, but like Lux Eterna, right, was just put out by Yellow Veil, right?
Yep.
Yeah, now Vortex, crazy.
Yeah, this is a continuing. I won't say reappraisal because this is a brand new film from him, but just Gaspar Noé getting more attention, which is always a good thing. This is supposedly a depressing film, and I would expect nothing less for something about dementia. And obviously Gaspar Noé. Yeah. Really interesting way to do this slip, because I believe, if I remember, not that it's, I guess it's a gimmick of sorts, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. I believe a lot of this film is split screen, where they have two different things happening at the same time. And so the split slipcover makes a lot of sense. This is supposedly, this is one that is a very effective film, and one that I can't wait to spend a night with, like almost on the verge of sobbing. This is like one of the most personal aspects of films for me, because I don't get scared by like Barbarian or something like that just came out, but dementia and losing my mental faculties, terrifying to me. Yeah, everything about that just sounds like the absolute worst, and I'm very interested to see how this goes,
especially in the hands of Gaspar Noé. Yeah, I'm kind of with Sardis. Not my mom. So thanks for sharing that. That's good. I appreciate that. But I've known people with dementia, and like, I mean, I'll buy the movie. I don't know when I'll watch it. It'll be a little while. That's heavy.
Yeah. And that actually, that's not to call back my interview with Fran, and I'm going to do that again in a moment when there's a little thing promoting it on here. But one of the things I talked about is just watching films to literally make you feel emotions, and this is one of those things that you really just kind of have to be ready to sit in something like this for the night and understand that it is probably going to have some sort of effect on you. Next up, What's Up Connection is coming from Connie, one of Chris's favorites. When Hong Kong teenager, I'm not going to be able to say that name properly, wins a trip to Japan, he unleashes a chain of events that will soon bring him from the secluded fishing village of Potoyo to Tokyo by way of Kamagasaki, the so-called slums of Osaka. On the way, he connects with a barely competent tour guide named Kumi and the shape-shifting, loudmouth, and lovable thief Akane. Upon returning home with this merry band of schemers, Gao Xin finds his family of resourceful counterfeiters on the verge of expropriation. A multinational conglomerate led by a ruthless Japanese developer has found the village and is determined to raise it to build the new center of world trade. So this one is, I believe, made to look like, was it called Robinson's Garden that they just released?
Yeah.
And I believe it's related to that some way. I don't have the Vinegar Syndrome page in front of me, but I believe it's either the same director or something.
So this is Masashi Yamamoto.
Yep.
What is same director?
I think so. Yeah. I believe that's the same
connection.
name. Yeah.
And
if
Masashi
you look,
Yamamoto, yeah.
The special features here. This says an interview with the director, part 2. These are attached to that Robinson's Garden release because they interviewed him at the same time. There's an interview with critic and filmmaker on here from 2022, interview with one of the actors, interview with the AD, and then a booklet. Again, just a quiet, wonderful release from Canny. Everything they put out is just great.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. They're cool too. I like when companies do this. Like they went to Canon Abels from the Philippines. Or Ode to Nothing was from, let's see, do they mention it quickly? A different country. It's Philippines as well. So they're all over Southeast Asia. Like they're not, I don't know. I like that. They're just finding good movies and putting them out. So
if I remember right, I think they did something from Vietnam on one of them. Maybe I'm just everything that they have been doing. It's just quiet and under the radar and really high quality, totally. And not enough people speaking on it. I don't really get it, but this is one that more people definitely need to be paying attention to. Deaf Crocodile. We mentioned this earlier. They are putting out Zerograd from 1988, and the stills from this look fantastic. But the big thing, I only had to read the first line of their copy, and I was like, oh, so I'm buying that. Got it. Part Kafka, part Agatha Christie, and part Monty Python. Done. I'm sold. Like, I want 9 of those. Those are 3 amazing things. I can't wait to see this one. They do such great work. This gets a new 2K restoration from the OCN and from the original 35mm picture and sound elements that was done by Mosfilm. I believe that one is in, it was not Russia. It was one of the other countries that was working with them. I can't remember where now.
Are you talking about the one they just released out of Finland?
It might be Finland.
Or they also did a Ukrainian one recently. So you're thinking, there's...
Don't think it's Ukraine. I think it's the one of the same. Gosh, yeah. Which one was it?
Are you thinking of a Deaf Crocodile release?
I don't know. I'm tired.
No, it's. Okay.
I could be very wrong. You know what? None of the other ones mentioned Mosfilm. I just looked it up. So I'm definitely thinking of something else. So this gets a new video interview with the director and a new commentary track by Sam Deegan, which really freaking cool that she's going to be on a release like this. New booklet essay by Chris D, he's the author of Outlaw Masters of Japanese Film. And this release just looks like batshit, basically. This looks fantastic.
But, sorry, you're not wrong. Mosfilm was... Ilya Muromets. That was a Mosfilm release.
Was it? Okay, it didn't come up under search. That's weird.
Yeah. I just remember because at that time, like the way the world was structured, that was still like under USSR or whatever. So it was like it went to Mosfilm, even though now it's Ukraine. And then the next one, Sampo, which people are talking about, I believe, could potentially also be Mosfilm, but that's a Finnish one apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, they worked together on both of those films. They were, I believe, funded by both governments or something like that. With the way that it worked back then. That's what I believe. That's what Dennis said when I was talking to them. Yeah, just great work on pretty much all of their releases. I don't know. Deaf Crocodile is one that I will sail with till the end.
Yeah, same. Dennis is one of the more dynamic people, and Craig is one of the more technical, brilliant. So.
Yeah, that is one of the interviews that I don't know if this is weird to say. Like, I don't really go back and watch any of my stuff, but sometimes the interviews are something that I just got to hear some of those moments again. And for that Deaf Crocodile one, it's genuinely inspiring just to hear like the amount of stuff that Craig does to go through a restoration. Just months on the exact same film there's so much dedication on here that You just have to admire it.
Totally.
Is that the last one? Holy hell, guys. That was the last one. Amazing. Okay, so I guess I forgot I had 2 interviews that went up so far this week because this dropped on the 1st. Like I said, I did an interview with Dan from VHS Hit Fest. Go give that a watch, please. Man, this feels like this was announced weeks ago at this point. December 13th from Kino, we're getting Girl on a Motorcycle, new 4K restoration. We got a new audio commentary on this one with Alexandra Heller-Nicholas, which is really cool for something like this. They're calling this a wildly sexy time capsule from the swinging 60s. I've never seen it, but this looks fantastic. 1968. I love these style of films. Is this anything near your wheelhouse?
I mean, I have a little bit of a crush on Alain Delon.
That checks out, yeah.
So I'll watch anything he's in. I haven't seen Girl on a Motorcycle, but it's one that I am very excited to watch. I haven't been buying as much Kino, but they're just always like so tempting.
Yeah.
Like the thing I like about them is because they don't do limited releases as much. So it's like you can just wait till a sale and pick it up.
Yeah. And inevitably they will have some amazing sale, and this will be $10 like 3 months after release. It's really hard to pre-order anything from Kino when you can get something that's
this is my Kino sale.
$18 on release day, or wait a week and it'll be on sale and it's $8 less. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's tough. I will say though, if there's anybody that is tempted a lot by a Kino Lorber release, keep an eye out, because they are pretty much always cheaper on the Kino website. And if there's 2 or 3 titles you want and you can hit that $50 free shipping, it is such a great way to get their titles. It is cheap, easy, it is fast, really good customer service. They are one of the better ones to get directly for something like that. And a lot of people, they've primarily been going to Amazon for Kino titles. And I don't know if you've paid attention to people complaining about this. Amazon has not been getting Kino titles on time for months. They're getting them like 3 or 4 weeks after release date. And again, just another reason to never support Amazon. But
yeah, don't support Amazon.
Yeah, period. But gotta tell everybody, go elsewhere. Hey, look who's here.
The man, the legend. What's up, Zach?
Another Kino, the Hallelujah Trail from 1965. This is an MGM Master 2K scan of the 35mm reduction interpositive. New audio commentary by Michael Schlesinger and C. Courtney Joyner. This has the Roadshow Overture on it, an intermission, and entrance and exit music, which, fantastic. This is a John Sturges film, has Burt Lancaster, Lee Remick in it, and one that I've never seen just because this is not my wheelhouse. I don't love most Westerns.
I don't. Okay, I love spaghetti Westerns. And I love like some of the Mexican Westerns that were coming out that were like equally violent and stuff.
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of like John Wayne type, John Ford type Westerns. But John Sturges does it right. I'd say.
Yeah.
He does a good job.
Yeah, and when I was definitely not into Westerns when I was younger, I certainly actively turned away from them. Now I've at least tried. So this is one, again, once it comes to a sale, I'll probably check this one out.
Speaking of, if you haven't seen My Darling Clementine, I like that 100 times more than I was expecting to going in. Yeah, it's a very, very good old classic Western that just, I don't know, they did it right for whatever reason. Anyways.
Yeah. Skulder says, have to buy from Amazon because Kino is US only.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Outside of the US, yeah, totally.
Yeah. And Bruiser says, my wallet hates Kino. I love this comment too, Sardis. If you can't pick out $50 worth at Kino Lorber, you're not looking very hard. And it's crazy, like this current sale that they've had for what feels like 3 weeks at this point, and it might actually be about 3 weeks. 850 plus titles on sale, and when you're going through, it's literally like 35 pages of stuff to trawl through. And the crappy thing is every single page, I'm like, 4 of these sound good and I don't have them. Every page. And I think when I went through my first pass of the sale, that was just the Dream Pass, I had like $1,300 worth of stuff saved in my cart that I was never going to check out with. It's like, good Lord.
Yep.
Then we got some Shout and Scream Factory announcements. Oh boy. So this is going to be an interesting conversation. December 20th on 4K, we are getting War Games from Shout Factory. This one's odd because they're not putting it on Shout Select, and it's not Scream Factory. It's just a Shout Factory title. I'm kind of surprised this wasn't a Shout Select title.
Totally.
This got a new 4K scan of the OCN, and it's in Dolby Vision, but you don't put it on Shout Select. I don't get it.
I did a double take. I was looking for the Shout Select banner.
There is nothing new, I believe, on this. This is just a bunch of recycled features, but you can get a rolled poster of the original artwork, which is kind of cool for a film like this. War Games. What do you think of War Games?
Okay. So I don't mean to make anybody mad. I'm basically done buying from Shout and Scream, except for maybe some of their big bucks sets, or if there's a title that I just like have to get.
Right.
I don't know what it is. I just like am not motivated to support them. Like, there's no all the excitement we're talking about with the partner labels and the like this and that. Like, I don't like when I first got into collecting, you can email them. So anybody that loves Scream Factory, you can email their customer support and say, "Can you give me an Excel dump of every title you've ever put out?" And they'll send it to you. Like, I have it in my inbox. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go complete like all the great horror stuff and all. I don't know. I'm not. War Games is fine. It's a good movie. It's fun. I remember it from my childhood. It was fine. I'm unless it's like a movie that I'm just like I can't not buy. I think I'm gonna slowly start getting rid of some of my Shout stuff and Scream stuff.
So we're gonna get more into that feeling in just a minute, because once we see these Scream Factory titles announced, we'll talk about why it's not exciting. But first off, War Games. I don't know if this is a hot take, and especially how you're responsive. It's fine. Maybe not on this show at the moment, but I think War Games is one of the most like overrated titles of all time.
Okay.
I don't understand why this was so highly beloved. Like, the idea is kind of interesting, but the execution of this movie is not great. Not at all. Anyways, let's keep going and get more disappointed. Carrie coming on 4K from Scream Factory. This is also coming in a steelbook, and this is what the steelbook looks like. You know what Carrie is. This is getting a new 4K scan of the OCN in Dolby Vision, and no new features at all. I guess we could show this. They are doing one of their crazy pin sets with it. And the lithograph that comes with the steelbook, which I believe this will be the whole artwork for the steel. This is one thing I do want to highlight. I adore this artwork. I think this is one of the better pieces of Scream artwork in a long time.
It's very good.
Yeah, that's the most exciting thing about this release for me. Carrying on, Coraline in a 4K steelbook, which the and regular 4K. Okay. I love Coraline. I think it's one of the better kid-adjacent films over the last 15 years? 2009? So 13 years? Sure. It's great. However, they just released Coraline on Blu-ray like last September. So not to be outdone, hey, let's also do Paranorman in a 4K steelbook and a standard 4K. But they just did this on Blu-ray last September too. Let's keep going down that path. What else? Let's also put out Black Christmas, which great. It's a classic, literally one of my favorite films of all time in the horror genre. One of the most influential slashers ever. I'm glad that the original artwork is going to be present on this. That the poster is going to show this. This is getting one of their pin sets. Sure, cool. But also, you put this out on Blu-ray. This is maybe the only difference this month on their releases that made me a little more excited. So this not only got a new 4K scan of the OCN, it also got a restoration of the mono track and a restoration of the 5.1 audio that restored missing dialogue, music, and sound effects. That's a little intriguing to me. They're also still going to port over all of the bonus features, including the 2006 Critical Mass HD Master, which, for those that never paid attention, that one has like completely different color timing on it, and some people are more used to that color scheme, so they go back to that one. So it's just to make it a complete package, basically.
Cool. That's good.
Cool. I don't know if this is everything. We're going to talk about Scream Factory after this. I think this is the last title, so I guess we'll talk about this. A Walk to Remember from 2002. I don't know about you. I secretly love this movie. I think that it's amazing. I spent a lot of time reading Nicholas Sparks books when I was younger because he, after a while, it got cliche because every single one of his books had a twist because somebody dies or something like that. Mm-hmm. But they were fairly well written for like young people movies. But yeah, this is a very nostalgic one for me. Not one that I expected from Shout Select at all. But now that that's the last title, why is none of it exciting? How many films has Scream Factory put out this year that they've never released before? Because I have to believe the total is less than probably 15 or 18 at most. And that's even probably being fairly generous.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard because they put out multiple a month, right? So, or I don't know. They put out in bunches, anyways.
Yeah, and specifically speaking, Scream Factory here. So this year we got Alligator on 4K. That's a big deal. We got the Sword and Sandal film that I never remember on 4K. I'm not going to remember because I don't like that movie. Seriously, everything that they're putting out right now is 4K re-releases, and honestly, like I'm happy that we're getting them in a better format. A lot of their 4Ks this year have looked great. Funhouse from Tobe Hooper looks better than it's ever looked. It looks amazing. Cat People from Paul Schrader. It's a magnificent restoration. Cool, but also there's still thousands of films that have never been released. We should also be getting some of those.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I think it's a good point. And I don't know, like, there's just certain companies where I feel like I just don't get excited to support them in the same way that I do. Like, I don't know. Like, I have the very first, I think this is true. The very first thing that Shout Factory ever put out on DVD is the original Home Movies show. Do you remember that old cartoon, Home Movies?
Of course.
And so I used to love that. So as soon as they put it out on DVD, I bought it. 2000, 2001, something like that. Yeah, The Sword and the Sorcerer, good call.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I've been tracking. I have actually quite a bit of their stuff, especially Scream Factory. I probably have 40 titles from them or something, 40, 50 titles. But I don't know. It feels, I don't know. I just don't get as excited to support them. I hate to sound so fickle like that, but.
No, it's. I don't think it's fickle. I used to love Scream Factory. Being somebody that only got to see a lot of mainstream titles when I was younger, Scream Factory is perfect because this is a nostalgia-driven label for me. This is so many titles that I grew up with, that I relate to, that I associate great memories with, and for the most part, a lot of the older titles had great special features. But then we're getting, Piranha in 4K this year with nothing new on it. Why nothing new? Black Christmas in 4K. Sure, I love the film. I'm glad it's going to UHD. Nothing new. Granted, most people from it are passed away, unfortunately, but this is the best time in the world for film commentators ever in our history.
Yeah.
There are hundreds of people that would line up to do a Black Christmas commentary for free.
True.
And we can't get one new feature. For a while, I thought it was just the pandemic. Scream Factory, for some reason, couldn't keep up. It doesn't feel that way anymore.
I mean, it honestly could potentially have supply chain issues could be a part of it. I don't know. Like production issues could be a part of it. I mean, everybody else has been able to figure it out, so it's getting harder to say that. But
Well, yeah,
um,
that and the hard part is they're still putting out 6 releases a month, basically 5 or 6 a month, but
and
they're
they're just
all
yeah.
yeah.
I see your point. That's true.
I don't know. It's tough. These are weird times for Scream Factory, and there's I don't know. I've defended them many times to a point. It's mostly just trying to use logic to calm down people complaining about everything. But there's something here that for Scream Factory, you get stuff like Life Force and Leviathan that are underseen, but then they've also done quite a bit that nobody has seen. Like Alligator was very difficult to see for a long time. That's one of the things that I could champion from this year, but that's few and far between nowadays. That's enough. Flickering says, I have never looked to Shout Factory to resurrect Lost, Undiscovered, or Underappreciated. They surprised me with the Tammy show, but everything has exceptions. Agreed. Nightmare on the 13th Floor has never had a DVD release or Blu-ray, not in any country. I loved it when I was little. Seen it? I don't think so. I don't know that title. Do you know that one?
I'm looking it up. Nightmare on the 13th Floor. Is that the 13th sequel to Nightmare on Elm Street? 1990. Okay. No, I don't think
1990. Okay.
I like James Brolin.
Me too.
TV movie. No, I missed it.
We'll get back into Vinegar Syndrome for a moment. So they put out a newsletter this time, and they updated us on their subscription that we heard a few weeks ago that we were going to hear something about their subscription. So basically what they're saying is they are not selling their annual subscription during Black Friday sales anymore. Instead, 2023 will see the introduction of Subscriber Week. The first 7 days of the new year will be a celebration of all things Vinegar Syndrome. And they are marking it now that this is their 10-year anniversary, so they will be doing other stuff, possibly. We will be offering annual subscriptions during the 7-day period, along with all kinds of other goodies and deals. The subscription itself will be just as awesome as ever. Watch for more info to come. So, first off, I think this is a great move by them to not compete with Black Friday sales of everyone else. I think that this allows people to recover and potentially allow more to subscribe. That's pretty much my only feeling. Anything that jumps out at you about this?
I have a hunch that somewhere in the last year or two they received some outside money. Like, this is not insider information. This is just my brain. I have a hunch that they received some investment from something. Like, if you've seen the titles that they're putting out, what they're doing with them, the volume they're putting out, what they're doing with OCN, that money had to come from somewhere. I have a hunch they went and got outside money. And if that's true, investors like clean calendar years. And I have to imagine that this is a part of that. Like, why would you get a big influx of cash in October? Like, just do it in January, and then they might have the halfway sale in June or whatever, July. But I have to imagine, like, anytime I start to see businesses move towards like things that make more sense from like a fiscal perspective, I have to imagine there's a reason behind it. But I like your point as well. I think that's so true. Like, if you're choosing between a new couch or whatever on like a Black Friday sale or like a Vinegar Syndrome subscription, now you don't have to choose.
Yeah, the second part that I threw at this is a lot of people, might get some cash on Christmas and could throw it towards this potentially. But yeah, it's obviously something to, you'll hear complaints from people that I'd love to get a Black Friday subscription from Vinegar Syndrome, but I am buying Christmas presents for everybody. I'm shopping at 4 other boutique label sales. So not only will they still have a sale in November, but this will be yet another thing to make it so that they are always somehow in the news, which they are a master at. We are always talking about Vinegar Syndrome because every single day is a new event with them.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, they're big on that. That's a great point.
Great marketing. Let's see. Sardis. When you look for used films, the only boutiques I usually find is Criterion and Shout and Scream Factory. The other labels are kept for some reason. Interesting. That's a pretty good point.
Yeah, it's true. Benjamin Button is at every single Goodwill in the world.
And usually like 6 copies together.
Yeah, it's true.
We got our next Blue Underground 4K title. We are getting Marquis de Sade's Justine from 1969 in UHD. This is going to have a brand new 4K Dolby Vision HDR master, new extras in progress. That's how you do it. But they can confirm this release will also include the shorter Deadly Sanctuary cut in HD for the first time ever. Again, we just talked about this with Scream Factory. Sure, Blue Underground put this out previously. They're going to 4K, but they're putting work into it. This is something that I can genuinely get behind.
Totally. And I don't know if Zach's still on the line, but I know Zach's complete on their 4K. So Zach, have you bought this yet?
I don't even think a pre-order is up anywhere for it.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I think I mean, I don't know. It's kind of Blue Underground's thing, right? It feels like, I know this isn't true, but it feels like they have 30 titles and they just wait for new formats and just get money from new formats. I mean,
yep,
it works. It's worked for them.
Yeah, and the sad thing is their 4Ks have justified it. They are
the best. Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. I literally just watched one. I for my watch list, which I'm going to talk about probably when you got to hop off because it's already been 3 hours or whatever. The one I just watched, Daughters of Darkness, this is the first time I've watched this 4K, and it looks like a brand new movie. It is so damn good. It is crazy the work that they've done on these 4K titles, and it's so hard not to say that it's justified because it's pristine. I don't know. It's tough. There you go. Mike Ricky. I will buy all of the Blue Underground 4Ks. They are the best in the business. 100%. There are certain labels that have done comparable 4Ks that I can say are just about as good, but all of theirs have been that level the entire run. And that's I can't say that about anyone else.
Synapse is good too, I think, right? Is that the other one you're thinking about? It seems like their 4Ks have always been quite beloved.
How have they done many of 4Ks other than Suspiria?
Popcorn, wasn't Popcorn a 4K?
No, just Blue.
Okay, maybe I'm not thinking of the right one then. Anyways, keep going. I hear people talk about Synapse a lot as having good releases.
Well, their Blu-rays are great. The only problem with Synapse is that they're very overpriced when they first get announced.
Yeah.
The Synapse stuff will come in a steelbook that's $55, and then hey, maybe we'll do a standard edition, and then 10 months later they go, oh, here's the standard edition that you all probably knew was coming, and it's $18. It's tough.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have to think we're coming near to the end at some point. I won't spend a lot of time on this. First off, loved this first season. I don't know if you watched this, but Peacemaker is getting a Blu-ray release in the US, and this is one of the times that people complaining about physical media is actually paying off. This was only going to be coming in DVD to the US, but it got announced on Blu-ray in Canada, and everybody said, Warner, what the hell are you doing? Like, this is your best movie or TV show that's not Game of Thrones related in ages. Put it out on Blu-ray, goddammit. Like, they could have sold a 4K of this probably, but the fact that they finally listened and announced it for Blu-ray is really damn cool. We do have some special features that is coming on here, and that's coming on November 22nd. Catalog titles from Paramount, like Chris's favorite, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, 87 comedy classic. This is one that I am hesitant about. I'm very curious to see how much they could upgrade on this, but the cool thing, there is a bonus disc with over 75 minutes of never before seen deleted and extended scenes, and I am a John Candy whore and want to see all of the footage that I can from him, so I may unfortunately get stuck buying this eventually.
Does it have a Blu-ray release as part of it? It does not, right?
am not entirely sure on this. It does say the 4K UHD disc includes the feature and the following legacy features. The bonus Blu-ray disc. So yes, there is a Blu-ray with it.
Okay, I might check it out then. This is actually, I'll eat some crow on this. This is a movie I'd buy from them. I like it.
Next up, Laws of Gravity. Laws of Gravity from Kino Lorber is coming on December 27th. This is from 1992. We get a new commentary by Nick Gomez himself, the director, which is really cool considering this is 30 years old and a Kino Lorber title. It seems like something they may not have done normally, but the fact that they are doing this really shows, I think they have been stepping it up the last year or two. This one is supposedly really good. I've never seen this. Edie Falco's in it, Peter Green, Adam Treese. Yeah, it's supposed to be decent. Milestone Cinematheque, which is an interesting little partner label of Kino Lorber. They are putting out Alma's Rainbow from 1993. This one looks to be a pretty interesting release for somebody with my interest. This looks great. We got it's a coming of age comedy drama about 3 black women living in Brooklyn, and it has a lot of special features on here. So we have a panel discussion after the world premiere of this 4K restoration. We've got the oral history recorded by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science on this. Then on the second disc is where it gets pretty damn exciting. We got short films by the director, and there's a lot of them on there. This just seems like a wonderful release that never would have gotten anything. So I'm just glad that they're putting it out. This is fascinating.
Do you have any of the Milestone stuff before they sold to Kino Lorber?
Not before, no.
Apparently it was just like a husband and wife team or something.
Oh, interesting.
That just was putting out these amazing movies. They put out, I know them because they put out The Adventures of Prince Ahmed, that one of the original sort of like animated films from the 20s. They put that out, and then an amazing documentary, so great, called Araya, I think. Let me check. Yeah, Araya, just South American doc. So like they really like scour the world and find good films, but I guess they ran out of money or whatever, so Kino bought them out to make sure they could still put stuff out. So support them if you can. It's a small family getting fed through this.
Yeah, and we don't, I mean, obviously we've talked about a few of the Kino Lorber partner labels, which is a thing now, but the fact that they're doing, it's not even like genres off of each partner label, but that they do all have this own focus, and they feel kind of like the OCN partner labels. They're very separated, very to an actual mission for keeping with that label, and I love to see that. And there's another one that we're going to talk about in just a moment. After this one, I think. A24 announced a 4K and Blu-ray release of Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. This is supposedly amazing. I'm assuming you have not seen this yet.
I really want to see it, though.
Yeah, it's supposedly very heartwarming and supposed to be great. This is coming in one of their like regular Blu-ray size, but still really nice releases that they've been doing recently, like they did for the Souvenir. The coolest thing I think about this is A24 tends to be fairly overpriced with a lot of their stuff. But this release, whether you buy the Blu-ray or the 4K, it's $34. Same price for both. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool. Yeah, I really want to see this movie.
Mike wants to know, has anyone heard of Full Moon's Trancers 4K release? I've not seen it because I will wait a long time to buy anything from Full Moon because I don't trust their stuff usually. I've heard it's so-so. Some people happy with it, some people not on the other side.
Talk about somebody who's good at marketing. Respect for Charles Band for what he's built, but I haven't heard much about the 4K.
Yeah.
We just really quickly, and God Spoke is one of my favorite comedies. Stan brought that up in the comment. I love that movie. I'm really hoping the Criterion puts that out, honestly. Like, that feels like something that they would do. Otherwise, I have no idea where it would go. Like, who would put it out?
I would hate to see Shout Select, but it kind of makes sense.
Maybe. It's like, I don't know. Anyways, maybe. Could be. Sure. We'll go with that.
This is the October watch list. We're going to be talking about this in a few minutes. Probably tell Chris that he can go if he doesn't want to hang out for it. But make sure we're keeping up with that. I also, like I already mentioned like 9 times tonight, just posted an interview with Fran, what was that? Fran Simeone of Radiance Films. And it's a pretty damn good one. If you haven't checked it out, please do. Pearl from A24 is getting a regular Blu-ray release. This fancy slipcover is only going to be available as a Walmart exclusive because, of course, this is what the slip is going to look like everywhere else. This one's tough because obviously we're getting a trilogy of films. We've got X, we've got Pearl, we've got Maxine coming. X has already been released on 4K overseas, and it looks good. It looks a decent amount better than the Blu-ray from A24. I have no reason to believe that they will not release a special triple feature 4K release from A24 specifically soon after Maxine comes out.
Yeah.
It feels difficult to buy these as they come from A24.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but the hard part is I still haven't seen Pearl, and I'm dying to.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen X either.
It's pretty good.
There was I mean, I've heard I like Ty West, so I definitely want to see this.
Yeah, I'm just glad somebody gave Ty West a bunch of money to make 3 movies in 1 year.
That's cool. Very cool.
Let's see. I was confused because it's the same title. However, Radiance Films announced that Fun City is a partner label in the UK of Radiance Films, and they are putting out Cutter's Way and Married to the Mob, which I think this is a really cool move for Fun City and for Radiance Films to come in and jump straight into a partner label is, first of all, pretty ballsy and a nice move from somebody that's been in the industry for a long time. But also with Fun City having established the name that they do, I can't imagine that this will not sell like gangbusters over there.
I think so too. And he did confirm that it's only going to be Region B. So you basically just have a choice. Wherever you are, you can get Fun City now.
Yeah, and as far as I can tell from these first 2 announcements, there's nothing new. It's literally just going to be the exact same release on these, and you get a choice. If you want the UK one, you get Radiance. If you want US, you go Fun City themselves through OCN. I mean, this is a really cool move for them, though.
Definitely.
They're also doing this package. You can get these exclusive postcards from the 2 films with the 2 movies if you order it. It's only available till November 9th, and it's cheaper. It's only £32.
And right now the pound is in the trash, so it's a good bargain.
It's recovered a little bit, but it's a good time for sure. We got some details on the Taking of Pelham 123 coming in 4K from Kino. This is coming on December 20th. And what's pretty cool is even though Kino has unfortunately been double dipping into 4Ks, they're even going the extra mile and putting some new stuff on here. So we got a new commentary with Steve Mitchell and Nathaniel Thompson. We got all of the same features that they've had on their previous release. And they're even putting the commentary on the Blu-ray and the 4K disc. I mean, this is a great movie getting what seems to be a great release.
Yeah, there goes my theory about 4K disc not having special features too. So never mind, I stand corrected.
And the hard part is it seems to be label by label. Like, is Kino is there something wrong with that? Are they cheaping out on the 4K disc by doing that? Is there some sort of extra compression? I'm not entirely sure. Only a handful left, I think. We are getting Walk Proud from Scorpion, releasing from 1979. This is a Robbie Benson film, which I have never seen this one, but from what I hear, it's pretty decent. Not very often we get Scorpion films either. That's nice to see.
Yeah, is Scorpion the one where the guy that runs the label is just like a total wild man?
That's Code Red, and the reason they're confusing is because they're brothers. The guy that runs Scorpion is the brother of the guy that runs Code Red.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
Ice is asking, whatever happened to the Fun City podcast?
That's a great question. Jonathan works at Kino, so he's busy.
Yeah.
I'll ask him. I forgot to mention that's when I'm doing a reunion episode with him. So
nice.
I'll ask him.
That is very nice. I'm glad you get another conversation.
Yeah. Just gonna do a celebration of basically him taking over the world.
Basically, yeah. Speaking of Kino partner labels, we had Scorpion, they're a partner label, and then this one is Cohen Media, which I think I mentioned just last week or the week before that these are, I don't know the people behind Cohen, but really impressive choices usually. Most of the films they put out are very, very good. This is The Ballad of the Sad Cafe from 1991. As usual for me with the Cohen stuff, I've never seen this. I don't even know that I'd heard of it. But it's got Vanessa Redgrave and Keith Carradine and a little guy named Rod Steiger in this one. New audio commentary in it. What do you have much from Cohen? Have you checked into them much?
I am intentionally not starting with them because they are like there would be like honey for me or something. Like I'd start buying a lot from them.
It does feel like a very Chris label.
Yeah, like they curate the kind of stuff that I want to see. So I have not started yet, but one day I will because I want to support them. There's only so much money, and I'm buying Frankenstein versus Dracula or whatever.
That is a dang good point. Speaking of Cohen, they're also doing a Fish in the Bathtub, which this is one I'm probably going to have to buy. The cast on this one, Jerry Stiller, Mark Ruffalo, a very young Mark Ruffalo. This is from 1998. This is a new restoration of this Joan Micklin Silver, who did Hester Street. It's a romantic comedy. In their first film appearance together, real-life husband and wife comedy team Jerry Stiller and Ann Mira star as a couple who have been driving each other crazy for 40 years. Retired and depressed former shop owner Sam is getting on Molly's last nerve when he refuses to move the pet carp he's keeping in their bathroom. Molly leaves him and moves in with their son, Joel, who's dealing with marital problems of his own. The result is a laugh-out-loud comedy about the trials and tribulations of marriage and family life and how to stay in love through it all. I mean, this just has wholesome written all over it, and I love Cohen, so yeah, this is probably going to be one I have to check out. Let's see. Ice says The Insult from Cohen is fantastic. It's a Lebanese film, and it's on Tubi. Nice.
Perfect. Thank you.
Very nice. And that is our last one for the week. Except we are going to show now this one random thing that got announced kind of late last night. This is the Good Day of the Dead Big Bundle. Yeah. So Umbrella is releasing 3 films that have gotten too many releases basically for all of these movies. And they're, as far as I can tell, these are not actually new special features. This one might be, but even that I don't think is. But I can't find anything else new on any of these. So the main thing that they're doing is highlighting Ozploitation by putting new cover art on these releases. And I got to be honest, they're kind of amazing looking. And I am stoked that they're doing it. I wish it wasn't an Australian thing and I could justify the cost. But here is the Texas Chainsaw one. They're putting a new slip on it. You can get the day bill that is like this. And what they are doing is showing love to the film Outback. So they're styling it exactly the same as this old poster. They're doing the same for Hellraiser, which is the same as Turkey Shoot, which was put out by Severin. And then Day of the Dead looks just like Crocodile Dundee with Bub on the front here. These are great. I would love to get these, but man, it's a lot to ship from Australia. The coolest thing though is that they are allowing you, if you want, just to buy the slipcovers and the daybill posters. You don't have to buy the films. So if you already have a release of these, they can, let's see, I think, it's linked here. You can get them all here. And if you buy all 3 of them together, or individually, just the slips and the poster, $14 each, which isn't terrible. But then at the end, it'll be like another $20 to ship-ish.
Exactly.
So like $70 for 3 slipcovers and 3 posters. No, I can't justify that. Even though these are pretty amazing. Yeah, I do wish more companies did stuff like this. For sure.
Of all the Walmart, I think, right? Of all the places had like custom art that was made for a bunch of studio films.
Yeah, they like right now there's like glow in the dark Halloween slipcovers or something like that.
Yeah, they do all this crazy stuff. Like of all the places it's coming from Walmart. There's like one person inside Walmart who loves physical media, and they're like pushing this stuff out.
Once a year, we'll let you do it, but it can only be around Halloween.
Yeah, if you hit your bonus or something, we'll like let you get your wish. No, this is a fun idea. I saw the releases. I didn't dig into it. I didn't realize that's what they were doing. That's really clever. I like it. That's awesome. Good on them.
We have been going so long. I'm on my second bottle of water. I love it. Yeah, this is a really cool move. A little expensive for my taste, just to import some slips and posters, but I'm glad they're doing it. Following that, we always talk about what's coming out next week in case anybody forgot or needs to grab onto some things. Lost Highway and Arsenic and Old Lace coming from Kino. Shredder is getting a wide release finally. To Kill a Mockingbird 4K coming out from the studio. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure in 4K from Shout. The main one, like, cool that these Kinos are coming out and that the Universals are there. One that's been underseen for a long time, The Limey. So this is a Soderbergh film that is really well made.
Yeah, I agree.
And so few people have seen The Limey, and I really hope that this leads to other people finally getting a chance to put it out there. Stan, I was talking about the score and Indecent Proposal there on this row. Yeah, the top row was Criterion. Criterion here, Kino here. The Limey on 4K, this is one, again, beautiful film, really well acted, and deeper than most of the stuff that we talk about a lot of the time. Just not able to be seen for quite some time. In fact, I don't even remember. Did this ever get a regular Blue release in the US? I feel like this might have skipped Blue here.
Well, maybe I'm getting confused because I own it on DVD, but
yeah, there has been no US Blu-ray release of this. There is a UK Blu-ray release and an Australian one. No US Blu-ray release, so it went straight from DVD to 4K.
Okay.
That sort of thing, I'm super glad. I will support that all day long.
Mm-hmm.
This is getting a 4K Steelbook from Best Buy. I don't think it's getting a standard 4K yet. It may eventually, and it probably will, as long as it sells well. That's the big question. The Godfather 4Ks are finally getting a single standard small release. The Paranormal Activity set is coming out, which actually looks decent for a studio release. The Godfather is also getting the Steelbook releases next week, which they're just milking that to death like they always do. Another one of the Film Noir box sets from Kino. Disturbing Behavior finally back in print. That one's coming from MVD Rewind. Not a great movie, but a fun movie. Moving on, not a lot else. This is a Mondo Macabro title, finally going retail. This is The Other Side of the Mirror, a Jess Franco title. Blind Fury from Kino. Jack Frost 2 is getting the updated replacement disc and all that they went through. Is there something else you're going to shout out?
Well, I don't mean. Do you mind scrolling up just like maybe 2 rows?
Of course.
Blind Fury always makes me laugh that they tried to remake Zatoichi. No, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah.
What a wacky cover. One more. There's the Transfers 4K that someone's asking about.
Oh, yes.
Full Moon, yeah. Film Noir is up to... Wait, does that say 9?
This is 9, and we've already had 12 announced.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're already up to like 12 or 13 or something, right?
Yeah, and I believe they've confirmed like 15 coming.
Crazy. I mean, there's a lot of noir films, but
yeah. Well, and the sad thing is now that they're up to this high, I feel like they're kind of loosey goosey with the definition of film noir.
Just anything in black and white.
Yeah, they've not stayed really on theme, I think, for some of those. What else? The Blue Iguana. I kind of wanted to check this one out. I believe that's Kino or somebody or a Kino partner label. Flicker Alley. Don't talk about them enough. They do really great stuff for a lot of the classics. Smoke and Mirrors, the Tom Savini story. This is coming from Wild Eye, but again, just like with Visual Vengeance, they're treating it sort of like a boutique label. It's nice slipcover, got extras on the inside and everything. Stan wants to know, how do those Universal Classic 4Ks look? The ones I've seen look decent, at least. I mean, they are beloved films that have been archived properly, so they look great. The hard part is we've got a release of those films so many damn times that they've all looked decent, and they only get improved so much each time, really. The Horrible Sexy Vampire. This is another Mondo Macabro title going retail finally. Golden Girl, I think this is a Scorpion releasing title. The History of Metal and Horror. This looked fascinating to me. I believe this is narrated by Michael Berryman from The Hills Have Eyes. Just looks great. Love Brides of the Blood Mummy, another Mondo Macabro going retail. Another Cohen Media, Going Places from 74. Tiny Cinema is coming from Dread. I've not heard many good things about that one, but might be into that. And I think that's the bulk of it, if I'm remembering right.
Which RoboCop is that?
That is RoboCop the series.
Oh, the series. Okay, nice.
Unfortunately, if I'm remembering what they announced, it's not even going to come out in the right aspect ratio. So it's going to be cut off on some of it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I figured before I cut you loose, if you wanted to, unless you're ready now, you don't get a chance to talk about horror a lot on your own stuff. What is your relationship with horror since it's October?
So like if I need to just relax at the end of a day, I'll put on usually a horror movie. That's kind of my, like, not necessarily Serbian film, but like I love horror. The two that I like relax to are horror and then kung fu. So I just I'll show these. I just got these in from Terracotta. Terracotta does a good job shipping, and their stuff comes in fast. So they 88 Films put out the Black Cat.
Nice.
I just got that. Very excited for that transfer. I'm excited to see the new one. Finally, someone took all 3 Tiger Cage films, so super pumped about that. I've only ever seen the first one of these. Love it. And then a Jackie Chan movie, the Half a Loaf Kung Fu. So like I don't even need, if it's a Shaw Brothers or like kind of a martial arts film, Serbian film and chill, exactly. I don't even need it to be good. Like I just like put it on and like I don't know.
Comfort food.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with horror. I just finished recently anyways. I finally saw all 4 of the House movies.
Nice.
And they get like, I don't know, they get every single movie in that franchise is completely different.
Yeah.
And they get wild near the end. I think the third one is like a police procedural that they like tried to make a horror movie, and then the fourth one is kind of like that Jim Wynorski touch, which I'm a big fan of Wynorski stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I don't talk about horror a lot. I feel like there's a lot of people that are kind of covering horror. Like most of the collectors start with horror, so I don't focus on it as much. But it's a very relaxing place for me. What about you?
Yeah, it's probably my go-to just for fun stuff. But the hard part is, again, like I mentioned earlier, because I was not super well-rounded as a child or adolescent, I am trying to be as well-rounded as I can now. So I really do my best to not stick in one genre or rewatch things a lot, just because I want to discover as much as I possibly can. And it's that, I mean, we all want to do that, obviously, but it kind of sounds selfish. Like I just want to consume everything, but in all reality, like that's kind of the dream for me. I would love to just go genre to genre all day.
Do you mind if I show a messy closet on your pod?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So I'll show you the schizophrenic mind that this is how my mind works. This is I have my shelves that are like in the other room, But
Nice.
then I have my I pull stuff down to watch it. Yeah, you can tell I have kids. So these are Kieslowski's movies. I'm doing the director run.
Yeah.
And in the back is Anacondas, Django, Prepare a Coffin, Abbott and Costello, the complete Universal Pictures collection, disc 1 and 2, American Beauty, We're All Going to the World's Fair, The Last Temptation of Christ, and the Rudy Ray Moore box set. So, depending on the night, and then tucked away down there is the Hellraiser DVDs that are of all the shitty Hellraiser movies.
Nice.
So yeah, depending on the day, I just that's how I pick. I can't go to 5,000 movies and pick. That's overwhelming. So I have I pick 10 at a time and just that are all mixed up and then kind of go through it.
My it's not even a method anymore, but I used to have for some reason I called it a now playing shelf, but it was I have to watch these soon type of shelf basically. And then the hard part is I would get new stuff in and go, dang, I really want to see this. Okay, I'm watching this tonight. And then the now playing shelf just turned into a permanently sitting there shelf because I was just watching what was coming in. And it's okay, if this is the case, I'll never watch my collection. So I try to get fairly eclectic with what I'm watching like that. I like it.
Yeah. It's more interesting.
Yeah. If you want, I understand we've been on here for 3 hours and 15 minutes. So if you want to call it a night, feel free to. All I'm going to do is catch up with my October watch list. And God, what is the date today even? So I've got the first 6 days of the month to talk about. So if you want to talk about those films, by all means, you can stay and hang out.
Thank you. I think I'm going to bounce. Not to comment on your watch list. I'm sure it's fantastic.
You're good. It's late.
But I have to get up at 6 to present something. So
yep.
I'm going to go do that.
I get up at 5:30 every single day. It's hard. I get it.
But thank you. Super nice to chat with all of y'all. So thank you everybody for commenting and stuff. This is a lot of fun. I really appreciate it.
And if you are not, please go subscribe to the They Live by Film podcast. Literally, what I try to be with my interviews and the people that I talk to in this industry, they are amazing. Chris's vocal style is perfect. I appreciate the banter back and forth. And tonight, just thanks for all your time hanging out.
Oh, yeah, anytime. Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. Keep doing what you're doing.
You too. Have a good night.
Bye.
All right. October watch list. So first of the month, I had Reanimator. So first off, watch this with the wife and my mom, like I'm going to do with most of these movies. So my wife had never seen Reanimator, and my mom was recognizing it, and I think she had seen it, but I just cannot get over how good Reanimator is. It is such a well-crafted story. Such good practical effects. I hope anybody in the chat is going along with this watch list. If you are, please, by all means, comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Reanimator Classic. Supposedly, we might be getting that in 4K here soon. I would not be surprised at all if it was coming from Arrow in that same release like they did for the Blu-ray. This is a solid movie. I have it listed under horror comedy, and I think I laughed less this time. I don't think it's less funny. I think that what I noticed this time was just how well made it was. It really kind of took me this time. And going through the booklet with it and everything, the Arrow release is stupendous. If you've not gotten a chance to check that one out, they did great work on that Blu-ray release. Obviously, that was not a first-time watch. I love that release. Stan says I have a DVD signed by Jeff Combs. Nice. Jeff, I think he just announced that he's going to be at Son of Monsterpalooza in Southern California in either a couple weeks or was it Texas Frightmare? I don't know, but it's always nice to see him still going to those. It is such a close-knit family. Like him and Barbara Crampton, they seem to go to these a lot together. It's just nice that they're still doing it. And to not have Stuart Gordon sucks. I mean, just a wonderful person. Day 2 of this month was Black Sunday, Bava film that I thought I had seen this before, and watching it this time, I'm not sure if I had. I've seen a lot of Bava films, so I may have been confusing it with another title. I know he's got a few with the word black in the title, but this one was interesting. We've got black and white film from 1960 that is really well made. The acting in this movie was surprisingly decent. We are, of course, led by Barbara Steele in this one. And the odd thing about this movie is that the characters kind of play, or the actors kind of play two different characters. Again, spoilers, I guess, if you haven't seen it. But the way that the story goes, it did get a little confusing in how they filmed some of it, but supremely well made. Bava film through and through. It fell under the gothic horror category that I had it on, and I'm just glad to have watched it. I watched it on the old Kino Blu-ray release, and it looked good. Yeah, just an all-around decent movie. I'm glad I watched it. The next day, Mondays, I've dedicated to found footage in the month of October. And this is one that I'd never seen before. And I chalked that up for The Last Broadcast from 1998. This was recently put out by 101 Films in the UK. And then like 7 months later in the US. That was their first US release. The US release is good. It is a solid release. Got some good special features on there. The movie itself was interesting. It is hard. It is hard to make a movie like this great when the Blair Witch Project came out a year after and really changed horror. Like, genuinely, I can't think of anything else since the Blair Witch Project that was as influential and felt like such a tonal shift for horror since the Blair Witch Project. If somebody else feels differently, by all means, throw out a title, something that you think may have changed it that much. But The Last Broadcast, it was mostly well made for how little they spent on it. I think the budget was like $900 supposedly. They used like all their own equipment, and a really interesting way to tell a story about this fake TV show and the New Jersey Devil or whatever. Interesting story about going to the Pine Barrens. The ending was a little cheesy for me, which obviously horror endings are a little hard to land. Super well done. Stan says Last Broadcast kind of prefigures Blair Witch, but not nearly as good. Yeah, similar in pattern, although the whole thing is, founded around literally found footage, basically. Finding a tape for a TV show that was going to be making their broadcast, and it ended up being their last one. Yeah, it's not nearly as good. The acting is a little wooden in parts, but the setting is interesting, and I've always been fascinated with the whole Jersey Devil side of things and the Pine Barrens and how that's been added into so many different films, but none super successfully yet. Flickering Waves, Reanimator is one of those horror movies that I felt guilty about laughing at certain parts, but this time I couldn't remember what parts that would have been. Like you, I didn't laugh as much. Yeah, so I agree. The first time I watched it, I laughed like crazy. And I just didn't feel that. And now that I watched this one, I started thinking maybe I'm remembering Bride of Reanimator and not the first one. So maybe that one gets more comical. I'm not sure. I need to watch the second one again soon. Okay, so this one. Oh boy, this one. October 4th. This is Tuesday of this week. This fell under body horror. I watched the movie Kuso from 2017, directed by the musician Flying Lotus. Showed this to my wife and mom at the same time. Kuso. So, this isn't necessarily body horror. This was like surreal, gross out, not telling a linear story horror-ish. Man, this movie is weird. And Video Man, it says I told you about Kuso. This grossed my mom out in quite a few scenes. I laughed quite a bit. I didn't find any of it particularly scary or unnerving or anything. It was just weird. Stan says put From Beyond on my list. From Beyond is amazing. Unfortunately, not on this list. I've watched From Beyond a lot over the last few years. That's what actually one my wife has seen. So don't even need to re-show it to her. Kuso, though, this is one I do not recommend. I don't know, like some of it, the makeup was well done, but that was kind of the best bits. I'm glad I watched it, but not really one that I will ever watch again. Curious where somebody thinks of some of those ideas. Yeah, not a whole lot I can say about Kuso. Stan says, don't know Kuso at all. It's streaming on Shudder if you really want to get into it. It's a very low budget, surreal, like body horror comedy kind of. It's weird. I have to see Hard to Be a God. Interesting. I don't even think I know that title. The next day, the 5th of this month, was Lamora. This is falling under my vampires films. I had never seen this. This is a film from 1973 that I had heard was not like marketed towards kids, but like a lot of people watched it as a kid, and I'd somehow never seen it. I was taken aback by how poorly made this felt. I was shocked that so many people look at this fondly with nostalgia. I watched the Synapse DVD, which is from like 2004, and it did not look terrible for a DVD from 2004. But the movie itself is just really oddly made. It was filmed in the town where I was born for most of it, which is interesting. I'm shocked that some of the scenes were not more going for it than they were. Yeah, Lamora was certainly odd. The biggest thing for me is watching how many inconsistencies happened in every single scene. Like when they were trying to make it look like the bus was going up the mountain road and somebody was outside moving like a palm frond by the bus windows to make it look like they were driving by trees, and they would just move at the exact same time every couple seconds. It's so obvious. There was no attempt at making it look less generic right there. Interesting take on how much religion was in it and focused on being controlled essentially and making minors kind of sexual, which was a very progressive take in that time for sure. Finally, Daughters of Darkness. This is today's. This one is under erotic horror, and it's fairly tame for an erotic horror movie. Daughters of Darkness is good though. It's well made. It's the story of this couple that is in this really odd dynamic, and they are out at this hotel in the middle of nowhere when another couple people come in and sort of have a very negative impact on the rest of their stay. I guess that's how to go into that without spoilers. I will say, like I said earlier, the Blue Underground 4K looked astonishing, just incredibly well done. The restoration was magnificent. I'd seen this one prior. I don't think my wife liked this one very much. I think she was just bored a little bit by it. I definitely wanted a little more horror with it. Daughters of Darkness, though, it's a good movie. It's just it's like kind of like a not even Skinamax film. Like it's a good drama with a little bit of sexuality imposed into it, but more was needed, I think, in this movie. But it was really well made, and I could see how it was so influential for a lot of people. It was filmed great, looked really good for sure. And at that point, we are caught up. The next week looks to be an interesting week for my wife, especially. Tomorrow, Necromantic. Saturday, Extraordinary. Sunday is Tales of Terror. Monday, Gonjiam Haunted Asylum. Tuesday will be Thanatomorphos, the Unearthed Films title. Wednesday will be Thirst from 2009. And then next Thursday, Jean Roland's Fascination. I'm very curious to see how she reacts to some of these. In fact, this week, she has not seen any of those titles. So very curious to see how she responds. All right. I think that's all I've got. Video Man is talking about Kuso. You can smell the poop when you watch it, and the next 2 weeks after. Yeah, that's true. Hard to Be a God is a Russian film about people living in poop in a multiverse. Oh, that's the other one you're talking about. Wow. Seen by aliens that last for 3 hours, made in 2014. Wait a minute. I have heard about that. Where did I hear about this? I don't remember that title being associated, but I've definitely heard about that. Interesting. Yeah, Stan, it's definitely going to be quite a week. Curious to see if anybody else is following along. I'm going to be doing a separate video from the Reconnected for next week about the watch list, but that's all I got. It has been a long night. We're at 3.5 hours. Man, we did it. Long week of announcements. Next week will be much more tame, I'm sure. It always is. All that being said, I want to say thank you, of course, to the patrons. You guys keep this going so much. I appreciate you. The 2 individuals that sent in stuff that I shared earlier, I'm stoked on that. So pleased that I get to check out some of these titles from Brazil. And then those peppers that have literally been hurting my my throat all night. Stan, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you. Oh, that's it. Terry says Hard to Be a God is a Kino title. I've read that synopsis then. Yeah, that's exactly why. Okay. Thanks. Thank you. You definitely, I feel like the itch in my brain just got scratched. I appreciate that, because I was gonna have to go find where I had heard about it. Everybody, I've got new stuff coming out tomorrow, new stuff next week, all kinds of stuff. Again, if you want in on the interviews and helping formulate some of the questions, Patreon link in the description below. I solicit questions down there when I've got interviews scheduled when I can. I've got a really interesting... Oh, you told me about Hard to Be a God, Sardis. Interesting. Okay. I appreciate that. When did we talk about it? Because, yeah, it must have been fairly recently. Huh. Anyways, this has been fantastic. What was I about to say? All you faithful that are still there, I've got an interesting question for you, and sort of like a call to action here at the end. Not in the chat, in the comments below the video after I sign off in just a second. I'm going to ask you a question. I have done a lot of these interviews with people related to boutiques. I am considering trying to branch out more into filmmakers and people associated with the films themselves. If that's something you'd be interested in seeing, let me know. But also, what would you like those to focus on? For the people that are into physical media, for the people that are, don't have a long, varied, storied career that they can share a bunch of stuff from, what sort of things do you want to hear about them? If somebody is big into physical media, how much of the conversation would you like spent on their films, and how much about physical media or collecting? I would love to hear about that, so I could try to stay in a lane in what you guys would enjoy seeing. I've got my first one of those coming up, and it's fairly exciting for me because it's a pretty big name. So stay tuned for that. I have not announced anything on that, but it will be coming very soon. Again, appreciate you all. Like I said, go subscribe to They Live by Film. They're fantastic. I will see you here next Thursday. And as always, from one collector to all of you, hope you guys have a good night, good long weekend if you got the holiday off, and we'll see you throughout the week. I'm always here. Have a good one.